Welcome in, welcome in. How you all doing today? Happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you're all having a great week so far, and hope you guys are excited to hang out. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and say, YouTube might again be having some issues, so I super apologize about that. I thought I had it fixed, and then it likes breaking itself, so, hopefully it'll figure itself out one day. I even tested it and everything, and it worked for the stream on Sunday, but we're still having issues, apparently. So we'll figure it out eventually. So it might be a little buffering, you might be a little bit behind over on YouTube, and I apologize about that. But I promise, I'll try and keep up with stuff. But hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's having a fun Wednesday. Hey, horses. Hey, Arthur. Hey, Tara. Hey, Cat Almighty. Hey, Oda-san. Oh, and thank you for the sub, Deathheart. Welcome back. Holy shit. You're officially at 12 months. It's your sub anniversary. How does that feel? Imagine, like, actually, like, watching me for a year. That's incredibly cringe. Yo, thank you for the sub T-pose. Thank you. Congrats on the 5 months. I am doing well. I hope you guys are doing well too. I had a pretty interesting day today. And I'll have an even more interesting day tomorrow. So I'm gonna be completely honest, I have to give like a big old like history lesson to a bunch of like 8-year-olds tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to it. Literally whatsoever. I just remember the first time I met you. Same here. You got overheated and dehydrated? Uh-oh. Make sure you don't get too dehydrated. Outside than a bucket with water inside. It's got that outside seasoning. It's got the seasonings. Like bug carcasses. Hey, Tholazar, welcome in. Does anyone else have a dog that, like, tries to eat flies? We've got a really dumb dog that gets pissed off when flies, like, fly around it, so it tries to, like, snap and eat them. It's really gross. Try and prevent it all I want. He's dead set on it. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get some, like, background music going. Just some ambiance. Some regular old ambiance. Who doesn't like ambiance, dude? Ambiance is good in all situations. I gotta remind my instructor why OSHA is a thing. What OSHA violation were y'all committing, soldier? I gotta know. Yeah, cats seem to do it a lot. Then again, cats feel like they'll hunt anything as long as it's mildly enticing. I think they taught her because they just fly close and then pull away. I've been having that issue with, yeah, I've actually had the same thing with bumblebees. Either that or carpenter bees. We had some, like, really big jumbo bumblebees, and, like, they'll, like, float down and, like, literally, like, steer you in the eyeballs for, like, a couple of seconds and then, like, buzz you a couple times. Like, fly over you really fast. Laziest critter known to man. That cat knows who's feeding it and how good the fancy feast life is, and that cat goes, I ain't eating nothing else. That's pretty cool, Edison. Ow. I've just got a dog that, ow. I've got a dog that literally does not learn from anything, and then I've got a dog that is extremely, like, curious. So we've got one that, like, learns a lot and seems to be smart, and then another one that eats rocks for fun. Like, rocks and mulch. Like, he'll literally just pick up a piece of mulch like it's a chew toy and swallow it. Like, that dog's brain is pebbles. Ow. And not the fruity kind. Carpenter bees are the cutest bees of all time with how fat they are. They are pretty cute, I'll give you that much. That was me when I was 5, to be honest. You were eating rocks at 5? Look, all I'm gonna say is like, if you have a childhood where you start out, like, actually just, like, eating inanimate objects, you have a fate for yourself, and I don't know if it's one of academia, I'm just saying. I don't think I ever had a time where I was eating rocks. I don't know about that. You were decapitating ants at 5? Oh, God. What are you, like a serial killer? Sheathing on a wall. I forgot I set a Bluetooth speaker on top of the wall that was sheathing. But it did start smoking? Holy shit, dude. Yo, what's up, Eover? Welcome in. How you doing? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Tactical. I mean this in no mean way, shape, or form, but when I mummify you, I don't think I'm gonna have to scramble your brain. I think I'll be allowed to skip that step. Hey, Fridge, how's it going? There will not be it doesn't sound like there will be anything to scramble up there, so. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, decapitating ants is kind of crazy. I kind of get, like, being so removed from it as a kid. You put, like, firecrackers down, like, an anthill or something. I totally get that. But, like, individually, like, picking up an ant, be like, and just, like, picking its head off with your fingers is mildly Jeffrey Dahmer-ish. So I get to skip the line. You sure do, buddy. Fuck OSHA, I want to be on a live leak video. Oh, what happened today was just a lot of work. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy today. It was mostly prepping for tomorrow, which will be something for sure. I also found out that I will be going to the Pokemon tournament, the International Pokemon Tournament in New Orleans, the second week of June. So I'm really excited for that. That'll be a lot of fun. That's crazy, Amelia. That's insane. I don't know. Maybe I had a normal family, or maybe I had an abnormally normal family where, like, that didn't happen. That did not happen at all, dude. We never had anything weird like that. I'll also say, like, back to work, like, I got lazy this week, so, like, if you guys don't know, I usually, like, make my own lunches every week. I love cooking. But this weekend, I got really lazy, or last weekend, I got super lazy. I was not up to do literally anything. Hey, Hyper Gamer, welcome in, how you doing? And I quite literally, like, just made an adult Lunchables for, like, every day of the week. I got, like, fresh pita from my Mediterranean market and just shoved one of those in a box for each day with, like, little cheese slices of Merlot. It was, like, some kind of Merlot cheese. And then just, like, some pepperoni slices just, like, slapped in there with some pistachios. So, well-balanced lunch. It keeps me full. It's very low calorie, which is a good thing. But it's really funny compared to the stuff that I've been doing lately, which is like stir-frying enough food for a family of 6. Yeah, I'd imagine that did break your leg, soldier. I would imagine. Hey, Red. No, it's all good, buddy. But yeah, that blows my mind. Yo, what's up, Vtuber News? I'm doing great. How you doing? No, I got a question for you, chat. I'm giving a little bit more. I want to give a little bit more time so that people can get in before I ask this question, because it's a fun thing to think about, and I think we can really talk a lot about it. So I'll hold on to it for a minute. But yeah. Yesterday I had a Pokemon pre-release that I went and played. No crazy pulls. I got like the fancy Team Rocket's Moltres, not the crazy one. I wish I had gotten the Altart. That Altart goes crazy. But I got that. I got like the EX. And I had some okay fun playing the pre-release. There was a guy like at a table like 2 tables down that pulled the fucking Altart Mewtwo. So just $400. I was like, oh, okay. Enjoy your new Nintendo Switch with that one, buddy. Let's go through my old school laptop, and man, I was weird. I found a slideshow talking about who I wanted to cast for the Outsiders movie. And I said, And I said O.J. Simpson as Pony Boy since they're both innocent and don't kill people. That is crazy, Tactical. Tactical, oh my god. The day you must have had the week after or something when like your parents are like, actually, I don't know how to tell you this, kid. Hey, TSX, how you doing? That blows my mind, dude. That's crazy. It sounds really tasty, Otan. But yeah, that blows my mind. I'll also say it feels like every parent, like, I don't know, like how old y'all's parents are. Well, actually, I think it doesn't matter. It feels like everyone above the generation that have like kids that are older than like 17 were doing like crazy things at one point in their life. Like, I get casually told by like older people about like the batshit crazy stuff they do. They'd be like, yeah, you know, like my friend had like a 4-story house and we used to jump off the roof into the pool. And I'm like, did it never cross your mind like a single time that you could just like fuck it up and become a human flesh? What is it called? Shit! I had it set up and I forgot. What's the name of the accordion? Like, essentially become like a fleshy accordion? Like, did that never like cross your mind? Like, I'm surprised that nobody tried it and just like literally became paralyzed. That's like nothing. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm like, prude's not the right word, but like a scaredy cat. But like, I don't know. Maybe I would never be trying stuff like that. Like ever. That would never cross my mind. Spud guns are one thing. I feel like a lot of kids had spud guns. But like all of them were like, yeah, I jumped like 4 stories off a house and could have landed and killed myself on concrete, but I didn't. Or like, I don't know, it'd be crazy stuff like I'd race cars and almost crash this one time, or like I got in a bar fight, like that kind of stuff. No, that's fair, Tactical. You make a good point. The Kim lab of thermite. Going airborne through a mailbox and into a tree. That's what I'm saying, dude. And you know that car didn't have airbags, so she felt like literally every, like, PSI of that impact. I don't know, is that, like, the right way to put it? Pounds per square inch. Yeah, didn't have airbags. She probably wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and her chest, hopefully not her fucking face, went right into that fucking full steel steering wheel. Fun fact, you can buy the ingredients for thermite on Amazon. You can buy the ingredients for a lot of things on Amazon. That's crazy, TS. I will admit, I have gone that fast in my car one time because I wanted to see how far I could go with it. And it was an empty interstate at like 3 in the morning. And I think I hit like 127. It was something like that. And then the moment I hit 127, it was like, foot off the gas. I'm not going any further because my wheel is starting to like wobble. I was like, I like not eating food through a tube for the rest of my life. So the moment it gets a little bit hairy, I'm cutting it. I'm not trying to be Max Verstappen out here. That's something else I was kind of thinking about though. Like I see that, but like, have y'all seen that shit? Okay, sorry to like make like a negative, like to get into like a negative thing. But have y'all seen that stuff where it's like those people, that company that like quite literally like found a loophole to like legally sell children whippets? Well, I guess people whippets, but children buy them too. Have you guys seen that shit? That stuff's crazy, dude. I can't believe that they're allowed. Knowing the government, they probably have no clue about it. Yeah, it's really bad. Let me find him real quick. I'm trying to figure out what they're called again. But like, it's quite literally the nitrous used for like whipped cream. And it's called galaxy gas is what it is. And it's literally whippets. It is literally whippets. It is meant to be whippets. And they act like it's a whipped cream flavor additive. Hold on. Let me grab it real quick. Here, I'll move aside for it. But I'm gonna tell you why I'm bringing this up. So this is what it looks like. This is it. It's this thing right here, the thing on the left. So it's called galaxy gas, right? And what it's supposed to be is like whippets. I don't know if you guys know what whippets are. It's like whippets. No, it's not like whippets. It is whippets. That's what it is. But it sells itself as this like flavored whipped cream nitrous. So if you don't know, if you're like a chef at home and you're making homemade whipped cream, you put it into one of these canisters on the right here, your cream, and you put in one of these tubes and it whips it essentially. But this is also meant to give it like flavor to the whipped cream. Supposedly. In reality, people were talking about how the nozzles aren't even meant for these type of machines. They're obviously too big. And that the only way that the nozzles seemingly mean to work is if you want to ingest it into your lungs through your mouth, which is called doing whippets. That's what people do. It's called doing whippets. It's just taking the nitrous out of like whipped cream, like a whipped cream can, and like huffing it. And it's apparently pretty popular. You know what I mean? Like in the term of like drug use, it's pretty popular. So like I live, as many of you know, in not a great city. Technically, it just got put on the FBI's #1 list for most homicides in the nation for the past year. So feels great. But I live on the far outskirts of it. But sometimes I have to go into town to like, you know, like, or in the city to like see movies and stuff like that. And I think it was this time last year. I was in the movie theater of the parking lot of a movie theater. I was in the movie theater of a parking lot. And to put perspective, like I said, really low income city. I've never seen any drugs like on the ground, not even weed paraphernalia. I haven't seen, like meth bags. I haven't seen pipes, nothing like that. So I was extremely surprised when I came out of that movie theater at like 11 p.m. and found 3 of those just randomly in the parking lot. 3 of these things. Hi, Shigure Watabe. Welcome in. How you doing? Sorry, I only speak English because I'm stupid, but how you doing? Thank you for the lurk, Wyvern. Hope you take your organs. Oh, hey, Dimitri. How you doing? So yeah, it's literally laughing gas. Like whippets, like when you know you go like to get like a procedure done and you get like laughing gas, it's that. That is literally what it is. The difference is that in a doctor's office, it's obviously in a controlled environment, so you don't make yourself brain dead. So it's really bad. It is like really bad for you. So also like if you ever watch Jackass, laughing gas or like whippets is what Steve-O was addicted to for a long time and what almost killed him. It's really bad. And they can legally sell this shit online to anybody because there's no laws against nitrous whipped cream additive, which is what it markets itself as. So you have like adults and children, like teenagers, like 16, 17-year-olds treating these like fucking cigarettes and going out and like buying boxes of these, using them, and then just throwing the cans away in public, like out in parking lots and shit. But alcohol is worse. Alcohol is not worse than this. That is patently false, Otan. So if you don't know what whippets do, it like essentially, it practically cuts oxygen off from your fucking brain. Yeah, like you take too much alcohol, you have to get your stomach pumped. You probably, it's so hard it feels like to die of alcohol poisoning unless you're an alcoholic. Whippets are incredibly addicting. And you can overdose really easily on it, and it literally just makes you brain dead. That's literally what it does. It just kills oxygen in your brain. Yeah, it makes you literally dumber per inhale. Like, if you want to actually, I know we joke about, like, wasting and losing brain cells a lot on air. This is a way, if you feel like you're too smart and you just want to regress to ignorance is bliss, this is, you do whippets, quite literally. So yeah, that is a horrifying reality. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about it because it like blew my fucking mind. Because I didn't realize what it was until a couple days ago. Because I think 60 Minutes did a thing on it. And I was like, holy shit, dude. That is like the only like actual like hard drug paraphernalia I've ever seen in public. And it was giant empty canisters of those. Ow. Exactly. It's also very hard to buy alcohol as a minor. It is very easy to get a hold of these because they're legal. This is like if someone found out a way to make like off-brand cocaine and found a way to sell it online and couldn't get in trouble for it. I love that anyone can buy this, but alcohol, you have to be 21, but we can go to war at 17 to 18. I get that. Like, obviously this should be illegal. I think the government is just, as usual, like super far behind on legislating it. Thank you for the pet soda-san. But I'd also say, yeah, I kind of agree with the fact that, I don't know if people, I think people should be drafted at 17, 18, unless it's like really bad times of war. But quite honestly, and maybe this is coming from like me being a girl, so it doesn't affect me that much, but I really do feel like you should not be able to drink until 21. Sorry, I'm a firm believer of that. I've met people, met a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people, and I know for a fact that when I was 17 or 18, I knew a lot of people that could not handle drinking copious amounts of alcohol and being smart with it. If you were sent to war, I believe you should be able to drink before 21. In an ideal world, I would rather just say I want the VA to do its job. If you were sent to war and you come back before 21, I just think the VA should do its job and give you the therapy you need, not feed your alcoholism. So. I'm Australian, so booze is normal here. Fair enough. I feel like in other cultures it's fine. I just feel like in the United States, people aren't as forward thinking, especially when they're younger. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. So stay away from that shit. If you see anybody using that shit, call it out. It's really bad for you. It'll fuck up your life. So. But I also just wanted to talk about it because it blew my mind that that's like a thing. Like that's a legal thing. Like people actually use it. Like that blows my mind, man. And there's like pictures of ads on it on Facebook and stuff. Yeah, I can agree with that too, Felix. Yeah, it's because they're more reliable on cards. And that's immediately what I was thinking of. Is like, I don't trust... I'll be honest, I don't trust a lot of 21-year-olds to not drink and drive, if I'm being completely honest, in the United States. I definitely don't. I just don't. Let alone a 18-year-old. Hey, Woozer! Honestly, it doesn't even matter if we don't handle our booze well. It's the issue that, like, yeah, that we're such a huge card culture. Yeah, and people drive like dumbasses even when they're sober. I completely agree, dude. I can agree with that, T-Pose. I would imagine, Koi. Yeah, it's just a bad mix. The other problem here is that, like, people think that because, like, I don't know, like, there's this, like, weird conception in the US right now, though, that you can, like, smoke weed and drive. Which is extremely stupid. You should not be driving intoxicated at all. In a perfect world, you shouldn't be even driving, like, on small amounts of sleep. Like, quite literally. I think there's, like, actually some states or some places where, like, you can actually be prosecuted if you get into a car crash and they find out that you got, like, literally no sleep the night before. Or, like, you haven't slept in, like, 24 hours. But yeah, driving in the US is something else. I feel like everybody that lives in a major metro, like a major metro, is like, we have the worst drivers. So I think that says a lot. Just me personally. Those are my opinions on that. Now, speaking of other forms of travel, I do want to share something with you guys. Hold on. So some friends and I were talking, and we were talking about finally, none of us have like a ton of money right now. Just like not a lot of free money to go on a big trip or anything. But we were talking about going on a, like, trip to Japan, right? And one of my friends flies has a pilot's license. So something that we were talking about, let me pull it up real quick, was taking their plane and flying to Japan with it. And we wanted to see how realistic that could be. So this is flying from the southeastern United States all the way over to Japan. And let me show you guys real quick. So this here, wow, that is extremely small, is the plane, right? So this is the plane they own, right? And we were talking about it. And they were like, all right, guys, bring it in. And we had like our little like group talk or whatever. And he was like, all we need is a 450-gallon fuel bladder. And if we all chip in like $200, I'd be able to easily get us one and the fuel, or like not including fuel. So we started laughing at that. And then like we started looking into it deeper, right? And he was like, even with the 450-gallon bladder, what would a feasible route with this thing look like? So here is the first leg of the journey. Every dot is a stop. It is, yeah, it's a Piper Archer. Every dot is a stop. So this is the first half of the trip, and this is the second half of the trip. So we were laughing about it, and I was like, look, you guys can go, and you guys can have fun, but don't come crying to me on your fucking GPS cell phone or whatever, calling about how your plane ran out of gas across the Bering Strait, and now you're stranded like Amelia fucking Earhart, getting your organs ripped out by coconut crabs like a bunch of kids at a fucking Chuck E. Cheese pulling on pizza. Because I ain't doing shit. That is for all of you to deal with. That is the bed you have all made, and that is what you will sleep in. And they just shot back with, yeah, well, at least my life would be more interesting. And I was like, all right, that's kind of fair. But I was like, yeah, that'd be crazy. This is actually like some Amelia Earhart shit. Like, taking this little, like, Piper Archer and just flying around the world in it is crazy. And I was like, that'd be hilarious, though. It's like the equivalent of those guys that, like, go out and, like, take their little rinky-dink sailboat and sail around the world in it. Hey, Howler! Moshi Moshi Bird Dasu, what's up? Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, okay, so they were like, how are we gonna deal when we fly past Russia and DPRK? And I was like, don't worry, guys. I'll bring, like, 5, like, industrial-sized boxes of Roman candles as flares, and I'll use the chip bags that we eat. I'll turn the chip bags inside out and cut them into shreds and throw them out the window as chaff if they ever decide to launch missiles at us, at our little Piper Archer. It'll be really effective because, let's be honest, that Piper Archer is hardly giving off a heat signature. Yeah, that's the thing, is that, like, we laugh about it, but that is literally how it would go in, like, the 1920s. It'd be like, gee willikers, Bill Haslam and his 15 co-pilots are taking this DC-2 with 7 7 tons of jet fuel or fucking gasoline across from California to the land of the rising sun in Japan. The co-pilots will all have to walk out onto the wings mid-flight to refuel the plane halfway across the Pacific so that they can land in Guam and refuel. It's like shit like that. Like, literally some of the most harebrained, crazy shit. Hey, Lorelai, welcome in. They've made their world trip. They successfully made their global trip around the world in their DC-2. Of the 16 crew members, 9.5 died. How did a half die? We'd have no clue, but they sure did. It was the left half, if you're asking. So that's a resounding success for human technology. Now on to World War II. Yeah, there were literally some where it was like, we are throwing literally everything overboard just so we can get like 30 more feet. You have a good transatlantic radio voice. Do I really? That's crazy. I feel like Adrian is the best at it. I don't think I've heard him do it before, but I feel like Adrian would be really, really good at it. Only the left died because that dude is always right. You're so right, dude. The other half was cut off by a prop. True. That is crazy, Odasan. Then again, back then, like, building an airfield on an island back then was like, clear the trees and pat down the dirt. Like, it's not like it is today where it's like, yeah, we'll take like a giant like airport with paved, like top of the line, paved runways and like a Starbucks and a Chick-fil-A in the interior. You know, it's like, all right, here's a shack with like a radio tower and a dirt field. Mood, same here. I do the same thing whenever cops turn their lights on behind me. Haven't gotten in trouble yet. It's like, oh, cops are here. Better throw out the radio, my cell phone, everything in the back seat. The body in my trunk. It's a good thing I installed that panic button. A day which will live in infamy. Flying over Russia, warning missile, warning missile. You think that fucking Piper Archer has a a radar warning system? Where do you put the margaritas? That's a good question. I'll duct tape. Okay, honestly, I should start doing this more often. I will take my leotard and I'm gonna duct tape like right here where my leotard ends. I'm just gonna duct tape it around my thighs, right? And then we're gonna take the margaritas and pour them in the little inlet right here in the diamond in my boobs. And I will act as a temporary margarita bladder for the rest of the plane. It's like, oh, hold on. Let me lean over and tip margaritas out through my tits. Bird Garita, let's go, chat. Oh my god. My director got jokingly mad at me earlier last week because we had some guy come in to give like a talk. That was like some big like garden person. So like really big for all the 90-year-old women in the community. And he came to like give a talk on like flower arrangements and stuff like that. And he pulled up this massive Ford F-150 and he's like apparently kind of famous. Like he's done stuff for like the federal government and stuff like that, like flower arrangements for like memorials and stuff like that. Which is pretty cool. But he like walked in, he's like this young guy, he's probably like 25 or 26, or either that or somewhere between there and like early 30s. And he came in this like big lift kitted like Ford F-150 that was like brand spanking new. And he walked by us to go like give his like talk or whatever to the people that showed up. And my boss was sitting there and we were talking about, I forget what we were talking about, but like she wanted to ask him a question. And I was like, you should ask him how he feels about Ford Truck Month. And she just like stared at me for a minute, shook her head, and then just walked off. I was like, what? If he's got a truck that big, he's got to have some kind of opinion on it. It's just natural. Anything other than I'm buying the next line of Ford Raptors to carry a bunch of fucking tulips is a wrong answer. There's a reason why they're measured in cups. It's true, I'm a C cup. But yeah, I've started getting more comfortable at my job and I've started to act more unhinged to the point where they realize it. So my boss was like, honestly, if the kids act up, Hara, like, I'm just gonna, I know we keep you chained to your desk, quite literally, but I'll let you off the chain, and if it's a really annoying kid, you can just, like, eat them. Like, you just straight up eat them. And I was like, all right, she gets me. She gets my true self. Reminds me of that cosplayer that did the Eva plug suits and sweat kept building up in between the latex until you could see the ripples. Ew! Dude, that's disgusting! I don't mean to judge, but that's gonna smell rank, dude! Yo! Thank you for the sub, Monty! Holy shit, a tier 3! Thank you. Welcome back to the harem. Hi. I am Birdo. But yeah, oh, I didn't even get to talk about it because I've been too excited to talk about other things. So, our history videos today, we'll be doing 2. We've got one on a war between the Byzantines and the Sassanids, done by Sean Munger. So you know it's gonna be a banger. The other one is by Wendigoon, and it's on Buddhist mummies and the practices that they utilize to self-mummify, which is very interesting, and I feel very on brand for me. So, when we hit that Buddhist mummy video, you guys can get out your notepads and start taking notes, because sometimes I'm not gonna have enough time to mummify all of you, and you guys gotta start doing it yourselves. Besides, not only do you get, like, good kudos with me, you get good kudos with Buddha. So, like, you achieve enlightenment in, like, 2 separate ways, which is, like, pretty cool, honestly. That's insane tactical. I don't know why anybody would want to have anything that big. I'm sorry. Like, there's kind of a thing where, like, when, like, boobs, like, get too big, they really, really, like, outweigh the appeal. Like, the appeal is heavily outweighed by, like, how much they get in the way. It's like bangs. Every girl wants those, like, cute wolf cut bangs. Let's be honest. Like, all across the front, they, like, almost completely cover your eyes. But that shit gets in the way too much. You try it once, and you're like, all right, this doesn't fucking work for me. I'm changing it, so. Yeah, Byzantines! The Byzantines were weird. That is pretty crazy, Otan. I'm not mummifying myself. I'll wait for you to do it. If you don't actively mummify me yourself, it ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna keep on procrastinating till I forget. It's really easy. I hate to spoil it a little bit, but pretty much all you have to do is eat pine cones, tree bark, and, like, pine needles. You can't eat anything else, though. You literally just eat those for, like, 4 years, and then you, like, self-mummify. There's a lot more to it, but that's part of it. They're making they're actually still making DLC for Age of Empires 2. That's crazy. Isn't Age of Empires 2, like, 10 years old? And not throw up from them? I mean, if we're being quite honest, I mean, like, pen needles, pine cones, and tree bark are pretty easy to eat. Not that I know from personal experience. Yeah. Yeah, pine needle soda is also a thing. Oh, yeah, it's like way older, isn't it? So tell us that story. It's not really a story. It was a common occurrence. Look, I woke up literally like 5 years ago. Leave me alone. What does the whiteboard say? I think it says something about your reality classroom, your virtual reality classroom. You're a baby bird? True. Oh no, maybe it was a sign today, but I did actually see a deceased baby bird on my lunch break earlier this week. So that was sad. You'd very obviously just been too weak and fallen out of the nest. It's pretty sad. Look, pine cones can be pretty good, okay? Did anyone else like spend their summers like eating honeysuckle? Like I didn't do it, but there were a lot of you in my class that were like at my age that were like, "Oh my god, like honeysuckle's incredible." And then you like try one and you're like, "It's all right." It just tastes like very bland floury sugar. I need a lecture on the secret histories of Procopius. I'm afraid I don't know who that is, omnipresent vessel. Yeah, there was a lot of bird's nests down in my yard after a big storm here recently. Yeah. Honeysuckle happens, yeah. A sign from who yourself? A sign from God? From a tomb himself? He says you're cringe. Agua. My cockatiels are watching you with me. Let's go! Dude, cockatiels are adorable. I've said this before and I've said it again, like, I don't think I could ever own a pet because I'm the one that should be taken care of, not the pet. So I don't think I could ever do a pet, but especially with birds, because like they're messy. But I would love to like have a friend with a pet bird that I could just go over and hang out with. Because birds are sick. Their names are Assault and Battery. What kind of name is that? When I was a kid, my summers are going to my great grandma's and going fishing with her. That's pretty fun. I want a penguin. I love penguins. What, am I not good enough for you? What, like fucking penguins cooler than me or something, huh? What do you mean? What do you mean penguins? They can't even fly. They're not even like predators. They're fucking lame. Put on the penguin suit, baby. You want me to look like Danny DeVito? I'll wreck you in it, but I didn't know you were into that. I've had it in my closet for like years. I'm surprised I finally get to use it. I've already got the leotard on. I'm already like the black leotard on. I'm already like halfway to fucking the trash man. I just gotta go like one over the shoulder. Like take this like this one right here and move it to this shoulder, to the opposite shoulder. And like, I'm pretty much there. His titties were out. I don't know why mine can't be. When collecting needles for making pine tea, make sure it's not you. You will kill you. That's crazy. You tied carols. I might be biased towards geese. Like, isn't you like geese? You might be the first person ever. Wait, hard, you can fly again. Hey, Poppy. Sounds like TikTok food viral in my country. My family had tried so many dishes, and when there's a viral food in TikTok, we tried it, and it was okay or bad. Yeah, I feel like all the TikTok stuff is either like, it's like never mind-blowing. It's always just like, or, oh my god, that's terrible. They Fly Now? Please don't remind me of that movie. No, it's not really hovering. Monjet hovers. I just like superheat air around me and it causes an updraft that lifts me upwards. That's why I wear a leotard and not a skirt. Go watch Andor. I did hear Andor was pretty good, but I'm not a big Star Wars person and it was a little too slow for me. Sorry, if anything's gonna be like slow and like political intrigue and stuff like that, it's gotta be medieval fantasy for me, like Game of Thrones. If only they hadn't ruined it. Hara Hara, Moshi Moshi, Bird Desu, what's up, gear? Is Hara thigh thick like a penguin? I mean, I feel like I'm thicker than a penguin. It's a historian's dream. How is a Star Wars film a historian's dream? You go faster by catching the hot air? What, would my skirt be made out of canvas? Yeah, I think, that's not to say I don't think it's good. I just think it's too slow for me. Game of Thrones is just porn horror. What do you mean? Yeah, I never orgasmed harder than when the Zombie Mountain, took that guy who had his dick out peeing and just slammed his head right into the wall and killed him instantly. Like, I mean, it was all over the place. I got the wrong version of Andor. I got Andor and not Andor. I'll also say something that's really neat. I think we might watch it at some point if I don't get in trouble for streaming it. But Monty Python and the Holy Grail is now entirely free on YouTube, the entire movie. So before stream, I was watching the beginning of that. And dude, I swear to God, that opening scene with like the witch, it might be my favorite of just about any comedy movie ever. Just that fucking guy where he's like, who do you know she's a witch? And he goes, 'cause she looks like one. It just fucking kills me every time. Just the way he says it, 'cause she looks like one. I do think The Life of Brian is better though, yeah. What mic do you use? I use a Samsung Q2U. But if you want to upgrade it, I got some stuff on my throne. I would say the Samsung Q2U is like the best choice for like an entry microphone to like really good microphones. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Yari. I mean, to be fair, I've streamed movies before and haven't gotten in trouble. Like, we watched that really weird one for Christmas. That really fucking bad one. Like, Santa Defeats the Martians or whatever it was. There's way less murder in that movie than I expected, I'm gonna be honest. Wait, no, Santa Conquers the Martians. That's literally the name of it. There was, like, no murder. I don't think anyone cared about that Santa movie, and I don't think anybody cares about a Monty Python movie from, like, 1975. Hara casually creating a low pressure under her. You're not wrong. Next is Santa versus the Viet Cong. That sounds crazy. Are edible and sweet, but the seed is dangerously poisonous? Oh, wow. That's crazy, Latan. You should watch Atlantic Rim. It's like Pacific Rim, but not. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, Yari. I think it is 100 years. I'm just saying, I don't think anyone of the Monty Python estate is going after anybody on Twitch, let alone my small ass. That's how I feel about it. Okay, so now that we've been going for a minute and we got about 30 minutes of yap time left, I gotta ask a special question, chat. This was something that I was presented with earlier and I had to really think through it. So, you have to pick one or the other, right? Either you reverse time 15 years or you instantly become famous. And we'll say for the sake of it, you keep like your mind when you reverse back 15 years. What would you pick? I think I'd pick the 15 years. I think that's what I'd pick. Yeah, I think I'd reverse 15 years. So I was thinking about it and I was like, man, it would suck so much fucking ass, like more ass than I have even, to like go back through like middle school, high school, college, and masters. But I could invest in Bitcoin knowing full well what was happening and make a ton of money. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm going to be honest, fame is overrated. Like, fame seems incredibly overrated. The only problem is like, if you go back in time and, like, you'd have to, like, purposely fuck up all your relationships. Because, like, you'd have your mind and, like, you'd be technically, like, dating a minor. And that just opens up a world of, like, not great moral implications. Or make bank off of predicting the future. Well, you can't be too quick with it. You have to remember the butterfly effect. There's also, like, the uncertainty of, like, if you change things too much, you could, like, die early. And just, like, you're just fucked. Because, like, things go different when you do things differently, you know? There's a hell of a lot of things you could do with fame. Yeah, but it also comes to the downside of fame. Like, literally everything you do being, like, put under a microscope. Like, you could never talk publicly ever again without, like, having somebody for, like, your PR team go through it first. Like, even if it's just, like, random shit. Like, if there's a camera on you, you can't say anything. If it's on Twitter, you can't say anything. It is, like, it's, like, a weird form of, like, verbal prison. Because, like, you say something weird one time, and, oh, you're fucked. Like, it's over. Kanye did? No, Kanye's psychotic. There's a difference. Kanye is literally the most mentally ill person in the public eye. Yeah, that too, Yari. Well, no, you wouldn't be able to do that because, like, I don't know if you'd be able to, like, would you be able to set up, like, all that software and stuff? Like, you'd have the idea, but would you be able to fill it out? Yeah, also, fame doesn't guarantee money. It could be a monkey paw situation where you become famous for doing something incredibly fucking dumb. I mean, you're not wrong, Otan, but do you really want to live with the stress of, like, knowing that there's tens of thousands of people that hate you on a daily basis and will be sending you every message, DM, phone call, text message under the sun, letting you know how much they hate you? Yeah, you could be a lolcow, yeah. You could be Dark Side Phil. A dumb, broke bitch idiot that gets trolled for money. Yeah, like being a VTuber, yeah. 15 years ago, the RTX 10 series wasn't out, was it? No. I think the RTX series came out, like, 2014. So 15 years ago would be 2010. You'd also, here's another drawback. You'd have to prep for COVID again. Like, you'd have to know it's coming, and nobody would believe you, and the impact would likely be the same, if not worse. So, like, you have to go through that whole shit again, which I don't think I could do, honestly. Yeah, you could also become Chris Chan. Well, you're never going to be as bad as Chris Chan, but you could be Chris Chan level. Where you have, like, people that straight up, like, act like they're your friends and stuff just to farm you for content. COVID wasn't bad for me. You're very lucky. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was, like, had the worst time of my life ever during COVID, but it certainly wasn't great. We could revert the anti-vax movement, which would probably diminish the effects of COVID. I'm going to be honest. I don't think there's any way. That's like flat earth shit. Like, I'm going to be honest. That shit is like inevitable. That shit is like Thanos. People are too stupid in the modern day and age to avoid something like that. I do not, Vessel. This reminds me of a Harry Potter fanfic called A Little to the Left, where Harry goes back in time to book 1 with all of his memories. And it's so fucking funny and belligerent. That does sound funny. You see, it's not the solitariness of it. It's the fact that, like, you have to go through, like, so much stuff to do basic things. You see, it's nice when you get paid, Saucy Buns, I would imagine. That sounds very nice. I didn't get paid for dog shit. So, yeah. Plus, you'd have to relive, like, if you have any dead relatives over the past 15 years, like Yariko's saying, like, you have to go through all of that again. Like, you're going to see them again, but you're going to lose them again. COVID 6 times is diabolical. Whoa, is he going to, like, every, like, gas station bathroom and licking the handle on the urinal? That's crazy. I feel like you have to try, look, I feel like you have to try to get COVID. And that's coming from somebody that got it 3 times. Yeah, I feel like you have to try to get COVID 6 times. She has the worst immune system ever. I feel like if my immune system's that bad, I literally would not have left my house. Like, during that entire year. It would have been prison, but I would have dealt with it. Yeah, thank you for the follow, Purple Orchid. Welcome into the cult. How you doing? Bet she was licking doorknobs. Yeah, she's like that video of that kid, like, sucking off doorknobs. Oh, that's crazy. Well, then she needs to get better family members or friends. That's crazy, Gear. Holy shit. Mine wasn't ever that bad. Oh, yeah, I know it's still going around. It's just not a pandemic. Like, out of the 3 times I got it, 2 of it was because people were shitty and were on flights with them. And then the other time was just incredibly unlucky. Yeah, I got mine 3 times over, like, 2.5 years was when I got mine. It wasn't fun any of the times, I'll say that much. It was definitely the worst the first time around, though, like, pre-vaccine. Yeah, I bet you were, Gear. That's gotta be horrifying. I'm very fortunate that somehow I didn't lose any relatives to COVID during the pandemic. I had a relative pass away, but it was not caused by COVID, so. Actually, yeah, no, she did pass away during COVID. But she was in a bad state for like years before COVID. You got COVID from a Best Buy employee? That's crazy. I would never go back to that Best Buy ever again. Like, I would never come within 10 miles of that Best Buy. But we quarantined, yeah. I missed a birthday and I missed a Thanksgiving because of COVID. Because either I or a roommate had it. It's not great. I know I've told this story before, but like the first time I got COVID, I got like the really bad one where like you couldn't smell or taste anything. And I don't know if anybody ever like had that version of it pre-vaccine, but that version, it's kind of like, have you ever had the feeling of like pool water up your nose? Like when you didn't mean to have pool water up your nose, that burning sensation from the chlorine. Imagine that, but for like 3 or 4 days. And then once it's gone, you can't smell or taste anything. Because it is like literally burning all the nerve endings like in your nose and throat. It's pretty fucked. But like the story was that I lived alone at the time and I was making a frozen pizza while I had it. So first I started trying everything in the fridge. I tried like every condiment under the sun, couldn't taste anything. Did mustard, did hot sauce. That was a very interesting one. Vinegar. The hot sauce was interesting because my mouth burned, but I couldn't taste it. So that was really weird. I did a bunch of that, and then I put in a pizza, like a frozen pizza, and went back to my room and accidentally fell asleep because I was sick. And I woke up like 30 minutes later, and it was like the whole cheese part, excuse me, hiccups, was completely burnt. I'm talking like charcoal black. And I was broke at the time because I didn't have a job. I was living off the stimulus checks. And I needed that pizza. So I being unable to taste it, I ate the whole thing. I ate the whole thing. It was not great. It was not great. I probably shortened my lifespan by at least a year by eating it. What's wrong with a little crunch? That's what I'm saying, dude. My body is an amalgamation of carcinogens. I will not have cancer. I will only give cancer to others. Meow. I am practically a walking carcinogen. Or flying, depending. That's crazy. Yeah, I've never burned anything to ash in an oven. Excuse me. You sound a lot better today. Thank you, Rattler. Yeah, this is what my voice sounds like when I'm not dead tired and I haven't been yapping for 6 hours, so. Honestly, my throat still feels a little tight. I might, like, get myself, like, some anti-mucus medication before streams. Hey, rude. I tried to cook a pizza over a pot full of thermite. What is wrong with you? Flying carcinogen sounds like a 1950s commie-aware ad or something. It kind of does. The commies are launching alien weather balloons over our country to give us airborne carcinogens and lung cancer. It's not the 15 cigarettes you smoked today. It's the communist, it's them communist weather balloons dropping aerialized carcinogens. And probably the leaded gasoline. 3 million flight miles is crazy. She raw dogged the whole COVID thing, no vaccine or anything. I have enough poison in my body, I'll be all right. What a freaking G. I mean, that's sick, but you still should definitely get vaccinated. Yeah, football. Dad is engineer. I am loopy. Yeah. You kind of got to be a little loopy to hang out here. Let's be honest. It's the asbestos in the cigarette filter. Oh, no, those were the healthy cigarettes. Yeah. Yeah, if a lot of people don't know, in the 50s and 60s, they thought a healthier alternative was to add an extra filter to cigarettes, a filter that contained, you guessed it, industrial-grade asbestos. Because you know what's really good at being a flame retardant and also being a really good filter? It's asbestos. You know what also gives you really bad lung cancer? Asbestos. Says the guy who only got the original vaccine, has had COVID 3 times thanks to the customer service job he used to have. Yeah. It is, Rattler. It also makes your symptoms less severe for most people. But I think that's really valuable because if I'm being honest, having had it 3 times, I think if you combined the 2 times I had it after the vaccine, it wasn't half as bad as the first time I had it. Adds flavor, what do you mean? Yeah, it adds like this, like, I don't know how to quite describe it. The asbestos adds just like a nice panache onto the, like, it adds a lot of umami. The asbestos adds a lot of umami to this dish. If I had to like, you know, kind of compare it to something else I've had in my lifetime, it kind of tastes like liquid mercury, you know? Like, thank you for coming on today to Iron Chef 1960s America. Today, Chef Smith has, presented us today with a Salisbury steak with, asbestos shavings on top, with 5 whole cigars with asbestos filters on the side. And I gotta say, I really like it. I really like what you did here, Chef Smith. The asbestos adds a nice, penny-like battery acid flavor to the Salisbury steak. That really adds that, like, biting, cutting flavor. I really like what you did with this dish, Chef. I had double dragon so bad I was living in the bathroom for like a week straight, though. What's double dragon? Is that food poisoning? I figure at this point I'm just building character. Hell yeah. Eating asbestos is much worse than breathing it. I imagine you breathe while you eat. Yeah, that sounds about right, Tactical. Why would you eat it? Because it's 1950s Iron Chef America. Yo, hi, Goddess Haley. Welcome in. How you doing? Welcome in. How do you eat it? By swallowing it, idiot. How you eat everything else, dingus? What'd you think? The same way you eat other things, such as small nails and, small balls of aluminum foil. I mean, like, okay, yeah, I walked into that one. See ya, TS. Like, how do you even get to the point of eating it? I actually watched a video earlier today where it's like a mental health thing, but there are people that literally, like, eat, like, okay, this is gonna be really disgusting. I'm gonna give you a warning. I'm gonna give you about 10 seconds to plug your ears and go la 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 if you don't want to hear something really gross. So I'm gonna count backwards from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. I found out that there's like a mental condition where like people like eat their like fingernails and shit. And like their own hair. And like skin from their fingers. And nose pickings. So, yeah. I really feel like eating like rocks and shit is not that far away from that. Yeah, it is disgusting, isn't it? I sprained my thumb while throwing sabers, and now I can't hold a pencil for more than 7 seconds. Paradox, that sounds like a Simpsons bit. Why would she show you that, Rattler? That's crazy. Eating drywall seems good. No, I've had that, actually. Drywall with, like southern, like, brown gravy, pretty good. Like, sausage gravy, not bad. Also, if you think about it, you could panini press any food, and it'd be good. Give me one food that you could not panini press, and it wouldn't taste good. It is the most efficient form of cooking. It is the most efficient form of cooking. Spaghetti? Oh, you're wrong for that, dude. Just plop yourself down some spaghetti. Just close the fucking iron on that shit. Bam! You got like a little like spaghetti like marinara crisp. Put a little bit of crunch. Use a little like pepper thing to like put some Parmesan cheese on top. Ugh, chef's kiss. A $2 bill. I don't think that's food. Alcohol. I mean, you could do like a fun like flambe with it. I wonder if there's anything in the world you could eat that would give you superpowers. Probably small radioactive isotopes. You should try it out, honestly. You should try it out for science. What we'll do is I'll go get one of those, like, children, like, science kits that have, like, radium and americium and californium. Like, everything on the bottom of that fucking, like, what's it fucking called? The elements table. Everything at the bottom of the elements table. We're gonna get a bunch of those, and we'll just let you eat one by one and see if you turn into Spider-Man. How about that? Well, we'll see how that works. We'll just sit there. I'm gonna sit there with like a checklist, and like a pen, and like wear some fake glasses, and like you're gonna like ingest like a small amount of uranium isotope 235, and like I'm gonna watch as like your throat like slowly melts from the inside out, and I'm like, yeah, definitely not a superpower there. Thank you for the follow, Holstadt. Welcome into the cult. How you doing? Hey, Reggie. Now you're just talking dirty. I am correct. Correct. I think it'd be funny. That's all I'm saying. I think it'd be funny. Have a half-life of a few minutes, though. Better eat them fast. That's my response to that. You better eat them fast. Babe, are you okay? Your uranium isotope 235 is getting cold. You've hardly touched it. You are gonna eat it, aren't you? I worked very, very, very hard to cook up that isotope for you. And you're saying you might not even eat it? That makes me feel bad. You'd eat it for me, right? Back up, please. I refuse. You're lucky I'm even within, like, breathing range of you right now. You should be no. You should be honored that I'm literally even within, like, arm's length of you, dude. And for any of you chatters, how far can you zoom, Hara? That's a good question. I think this is it. This is it. Wow, that's a big fucking hand, because I accidentally zoomed in on the hand. How big the hand? Oh, shit. Chatter, why do you have hands of Andre the Giant? That looked wrong. It looked right to me. Oh, it's back to normal. Yo, school in it today. Welcome in, Volter Point 2000. Welcome in. How you doing? Now, I will make a reminder, by the way, because I know a lot of people have come in here talking about school. This is an 18-plus community. We talk about adult things, like taxes, and bowling club memberships, and what else? No, we don't talk football. We talk car insurance. Yeah, we talk car insurance. Adulting! I'm not gonna lie. I think I could literally be 75 years old and I think I'd still have the mind of a child. I'm not even kidding. Like, my geriatric fuck old ass will be like walking through like fucking 2050s super mall. And like, I'm like literally like my body is shaped like a U-turn signal and I have like 3 canes. One for both arms and one for my tail feathers. I'll be like, oh, look at this cute little shop. It's got little virtual animals. It's like Tamagotchi, but without the container. How precious. And then it'll bark at me and I'll scream like, ah, and then I'll die. I'll just have a heart attack. Body shaped like a U-turn is wild. Look, that's how it works, okay? I am currently shaped as curvy as an Alabama fucking back road, but at some point, I'm gonna end up looking like the U-turn signal. U-turn sign. So it is what it is. If you're 75 in 2050, then you're 50 now. No comment. When you die, do we get our organs back? Fuck no. Wait till chatters find out that, like, this is like, I'm on my, like, 5th body. Wait till chatters find out I'm on my 5th body, dude. My organs are way out in the Saharan waste somewhere in one of the grandest underground temples you've never fucking seen. And every couple of 100 years, you know, a really pretty lady gets sacrificed and I'm brought back. So, yeah, that's how this works. Did none of you see the lore comic? Oh my god, dude, my own chatters, like, didn't even, like, study my lore. That's crazy. How do I nominate my organs to be harvested? There's a table in the back. The lore comic is sick. In more ways than one. Oh, that's crazy tactical. We may get older, but we never outgrow our teens. That is something funny that you find out when you grow up as an adult. Like, you look up to adults as a kid, and you're like, wow, they're so smart and cool as adults. And then you, like, become an adult, and you're like, oh, everybody's literally a fucking idiot. Like, literally everybody, including me, is a fucking moron, and everybody's winging everything. Where's the lore comic I must read? Yeah, it'll be in the Discord. You'll go to the Hara art area. Actually, it might be into the Not Safe for Work channel. I forget. Actually, it might not be there anymore. I think it deleted the lore comic channel. Get it? Winging it? Yeah. Are these where your temple is? No, that's not the right coordinates. That's on this plane of existence. So wrong. I must dip. See you, soldier. Thanks for hanging out, dude. Hope to see you back on Friday for Fall to Vegas. Oh, is it still there? I thought I removed it. If it's still there, then banger. Yeah, no, it's still there. Okay, cool. I'm 18. All good, friend. That's all that matters. I mean, you can try gear. Nobody's done it yet. This was my senior year. Well, congratulations. Hope you enjoyed college. It's way better than high school. Alrighty. Well, we are at about that time. Yeah, we're at about that time. So I'm going to take a quick break, guys. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. We're going to run a 3-minute ad break. When I get back, we'll check out these history videos, okay? So don't go anywhere. If you do, I will curse you so fucking hard. And by curse you, I mean I will literally fill your lungs with asbestos. That is the ancient evil incantation for today. So, yeah. Either that or I'll just make you addicted to cigarettes. One of the two. You'll have a nicotine addiction. So I'll be right back, friends. Don't go anywhere. I mean it. right, so we're gonna be starting with our first video today. We'll be doing the fun self-mummification video second. No, you can't go home. Is stream over yet? I don't think so. But we'll be watching our first video, which is by Sean Monger, my beloved. Who I've apparently not subscribed to on this account. So
hi.
Hi. There we go. But yeah, I've only subscribed on my personal account. But yeah, it'll be on the Byzantine-Sasanian War of 602. So, kind of, yeah, sarsaparilla. So this will be interesting. I've actually, like, never heard about this, which is Persian. It's the Byzantine-Persian Empire. That's famously who the, that type of cheese is, that you put on Italian food. Yeah, that's who that's named after. Persian cheese, you know? So they're obviously important. In Byzantine, well, there's nothing named after the Byzantines, so obviously they weren't that important either. So we'll be watching that. Usually Sean Munger is really good at what he does. If you guys don't know, please go check him out. He deserves your views. He deserves your time. He has a massive catalog if more long-form things are your thing. They have a ton of those. Oh, thank you for the follow, WHS72 and DerpyCat707. Welcome into the cult. Thank you. Sorry, I missed you, Derpy. But yeah, we'll be watching this as our first video. I'm gonna be giving like some historical opinions on it. Sean Munger's pretty good, so there's nothing I really have to like comment about his research. He's almost always on the fucking ball. So much so that he usually has sources. I guess he doesn't for this one, but typically he'll have sources listed, which is crazy. And we love that, honestly. An academic through and through. So yeah. We're gonna go ahead and get it started. There will be a lot of pauses as I probably comment on things and crack really dumb jokes. But let's first take a quick look at this mural that starts out, which is really interesting to me.
Shut up about the sun. Shut up about the sun.
No. Because some of these characters in this look really fucking crazy. Like, I want to talk about this dude off in the corner. I don't know if y'all can see my, hold on. Okay, now you can see it. Like, this little guy with this trumpet off in the corner, like, people are dying. There's a fucking mosh pit going on right here. Like, some dude's, like, simp kneeling because he's been struck in the back of the neck. We got, like, some really poorly mustached man about to just drive this gladius-looking thing right through this guy. And this guy's over here just like, whop. That's gotta be so, like, okay, honestly though, like, to honestly talk about it. When you had engagements like this, like, being the bugle player or, like, the drummer in, like, the Revolutionary War had to be crazy. Like, you're just, like, a 16-year-old kid, and, like, your Uncle Jim Bob just got blown into 1,000 bits by grape shot, like, 50 feet from you, and you're like, holy shit, bwop! Like, it's so fucking funny. Just to think about it, it's insane. Like, you have no weapon, you get a flag and a trumpet, and everyone around you is getting turned into ground beef. And it's just like, all right, well, hopefully it doesn't hit me next. Hey, Pache, welcome in. How you doing? IQ. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this video started. I love old art like this, by the way. The way they depict people is hilarious. It just looks so weird. Like this guy right here, it's literally, these two guys are fighting each other and both of them just look really like not jazzed about it at all. Like, this guy is like, man, I really wish I was at Chili's enjoying a Dollarita right now. And this guy's like, yeah, dude, tell me about it. Anyway, he just like slashes at him. Oh, yeah, I know that's the point of it. It's just wild to think about. Pache, that is a good way to call me. Love it. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's definitely old art. It's like Renaissance, I think. Yo! Welcome in, Raiders! Welcome in and welcome in, everybody. My name's Hara Rae Sol. I'm an Egyptian peregrine sun goddess. I do War Thunder variety and history streams. Thank you for the raid, Artie. How was your stream? What were you doing? Hi. If you guys don't know, Unite Artemis is a very good friend of mine. So if you get some time, you should totally follow her. Go check her out. She's really cool. She likes Dragon Ball Z stuff. Definitely fills in stuff that I'm not super interested in. So if that's kind of your thing, totally go check her out and hang out with her because she deserves it. But yeah, we'll get to our video now. I've been putting it off long enough. Hi, Lol. Hi. How you doing?
It was one of the most consequential conflicts in world history, right up there with World War II.
Oh my God, I'm getting double rated. Yo! Raid Part 2! Welcome in, Raiders! Welcome in, everybody. My name's Hara Rae Sol. I'm an Egyptian peregrine sun goddess. I do War Thunder variety and history streams. Thank you for the raid, Theo! How was your stream? How was your birthday? Happy birthday! Can we get happy birthdays in chat for Theo, please? She deserves it. She's my favorite Greek! I hope it was a really good birthday. Oh, okay. You guys did some repo and goofs. I love it. Let's go. But happy birthday. Happy birthday. How old is the little Greek? How old are you? Older than me, right? You look older. And I mean that in a passive-aggressive way. Kidding. Kidding. But yeah, we're watching a video from the great Sean Munger. It's on the Byzantine-Sasanian War, Sasanian, I don't know how to fucking say it. Persian, they're Persians. Seljuk. Oh yeah, we need to watch those videos, by the way. Here comes the Seljuk Turks. 209, damn. It's older than I thought. Good for you. All right, let's get back to our little silly video that I still haven't started.
Epic battles, dueling empires, iron-willed rulers, existentially high stakes, a siege that echoed down through centuries of stories and folklore.
Yeah, I bet Ambrosia does help.
My guess is that you've probably never heard of it. The Byzantine who now?
Imagine another
the lack
raid,
of
that'd
name
be
recognition
crazy.
of this conflict is not just because there were no Tom Hanks movies or Assassin's Creed sequels made about it. Most history teachers just skip right over it, which is criminal. Despite
Pontic
happening in a
soldier
century that
drives a
still
maze.
gets
Pontic soldier drives a maze through the helmet of the man next to you. Oh, fuck, the commander's gonna hear about this one. Bwah.
fairly labeled as part of the so-called Dark Ages. The Byzantine-Sasanian War of 602 through 628 really was a turning point in history, and an amazing story in its own right. In this video, I'm going to explain it and hopefully impress upon you why it's so pivotal in the history of the world. You can thank me later. Subscribe, click my Ko-Fi link, but watch this first. Hi, Sean here, and I do a lot of 20th century history on this channel, but this time I'm reaching back into medieval history.
Let's go.
All the way back to the 7th century.
That
CE.
skeleton was you, like right in the ball, dude. That's crazy. Right in your gazer.
This is the first video I'm making.
You took a blade?
specifically
Hold on,
for
wait.
one of the
Skirt! Stop! Wait, Pache. You're telling me you took an epic sword right through your frickin' gazer? That's sick, man. How'd you do it? How'd you live? Did you pull like what anime character was it where he just like moved his organ? Was it Joseph Joestar where he just moves his organs over? See you, Red. A small headache? Only a small one?
classes that I teach in real life, my 7th graders who are
You ate
studying
lobotomies for
pre-modern world history.
breakfast.
I'm also making it because, with all due respect to others on YouTube who've attempted this topic, yes, I see you there, kings and generals, I'm not a huge fan of the way that this subject has previously been done, specifically the approach of using lots of maps.
Oh,
I
he
guess there's
stops
no
his
way to
heart.
avoid
That's
it.
right. I forget what
Little
anime
heads of
character it is, but
emperors
there's
moving
one where
across
like
a
they
map of
literally
the
just like
Middle East
move
is
their
not that
organs
engaging.
instead of
The
getting
Seven Stars,
stabbed.
trust me,
Like they get like
I've tried.
stabbed through the heart.
So in this
But
video,
it turns out they,
we're
like,
gonna get the
moved
map
their
out of the way
organs.
early and then leave it alone. Here it is. That's Byzantium, also known as
Yeah,
the
it might
Eastern
have been
Roman
Demon
Empire,
Slayer.
and that's Persia, also known as the Sassanid or Sasanian Empire. And they were fighting each other for centuries before the year 602, which is where I'm going to pick up. And that's
Hold
really...
on, wait! It's Egypt! Egypt mentioned! Egypt mentioned! Hell yeah, dude. Let's go, dude! Raw! Egypt!
centuries before the year
That does sound like a
602,
Baki thing.
which is where I'm going to pick up. And that's really it with the map. I've only got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to fill in the background as we go. Warp 9, engage. We're going to start with this guy, the Emperor Maurice. He
looks
the
very
Emperor of
tired.
Byzantium from the year 582 until he was overthrown by an ambitious military
Whoa,
commander,
that
Phocas.
is
The
tripping me
important
out.
thing is that the Byzantine Empire, yes, I know they called themselves Romans, and they were. Anyway, the Byzantine Empire had fought a previous cycle of wars against the Sassanid
Maurice sounds like a
Persians,
stoner name. It
one
kind
of
of
their
does.
many hostile neighbors. Maurice had ended that
King
cycle in
Maurice,
part
Duke
by
of
helping
Kush.
the Sassanid Emperor Khosrow II
Flame
attain the
screensaver,
throne.
yeah.
And Khosrow was in fact married to Maurice's daughter. Phocas overthrew
Your eyes
Maurice
had
in
stars in them a
602,
moment ago.
and
I
the
swear I'm
next
not
year, in
crazy. No, you were
retaliation,
correct. I'm a
Khosrow
jukebox
and the
hero.
Persians began
You don't get that
an invasion of
reference?
Byzantine territory. Just so you understand, the Byzantines, the Eastern Roman Empire that continued on after the Western Empire fell in 476, were Orthodox Christians.
Okay, yeah, it was
Persians,
Inosuke.
or
Yeah, from Demon
Sasanians,
Slayer.
were Zoroastrians, yes, like Freddie Mercury. Their long conflict had a religious dimension, but Byzantium was also under attack from the other side by what it called barbarians.
Can we talk real quick about the amazingness that is Zoroastrianism? So if you guys don't know a whole lot about Zoroastrianism, it was obviously led by a guy named Zoroaster, which was a real person. That's not the god. Well, it is the god, but it was also a real person. And like what was funny about Zoroaster's religion is that when you had other religions during this time period, when you met another person that had a different god than you, you'd go, "Oh, that's interesting. I'm polytheistic and I want to get on your god's good side. So I will start like sometimes worshiping your god too. That way I can just cover all my bases, you know?" So that's what happened with most like polytheistic cultures. That's why like a lot of them, like Greece and Rome, and other areas like the God, what are they called? Starts with an E. Shit. I forget what their name is. Starts with an E. It's like EU. Not ecclesians. But yeah, anyway. They were all polytheistic. In that Mediterranean area, usually like just borrowed gods from one another. The same thing happened with Egypt and Greece when Ptolemaic Greece happened. But what was interesting about Zoroastrianism is that Zoroaster would go around like Palestine or like the Middle East, which is like the blending pot of its time for being like a trade up because it was kind of in the center of everything. And being the breadbasket of the ancient world and stuff like that back in its time, the beginning of civilization. You get what I mean? He would go around to each like polytheistic people and be like, instead of going, "Oh, that's a cool god, I'm gonna worship it too," it's, "Oh, that's a cool god, I'm that god as well." So like by the end of it, this guy was claiming to be like every religion's god, which is like supreme god. So like it's just really funny because this guy just walking around being like, "Yeah, I'm the god of the Abrahamic religions, and I'm the god of Hinduism. And then like it's like you meet a guy on the street saying that, and you go, okay, well, you see, I believe in Shintoism, and he's like, really? What's the main Shinto's god's name? And you answer it for him, and he's like, okay, well now I'm that god too, and you're just like, what? You're just like, huh? Are you kidding? You're kidding, right? Yeah, it's like, yo, that's crazy. I'm also that. That sounds really cool. So that's what Zoroastrianism is. And the funniest part is you have all these like ancient people like looking at this guy and following him, and it was a very popular religion, and going, oh yeah, that's totally true. No, he said that he is that god. Like he would essentially say, I am that god. It's just really funny. No, I don't know Priapus.
Slavic tribes like the Avars who were raiding Byzantine.
But it's just wild. It's very wild.
Phocas was extremely heavy-handed. In fact, his reign...
Okay, I didn't hear that the first time, but his name is Phocas. That is the most villain-sounding name ever. Like, actually, like a good villain name, not a bad one. That is an awesome name. Like, imagine you have to go up against some, like, evil wizard, and his name is Phocas. Well, now it just sounds like you're saying focus like an idiot. Okay, never mind. It doesn't sound like good anymore. I changed my mind. I said it once in trying to say it once in a cool way, and it came out as saying focus. It just sounds like an idiot now. Yeah, you got ruined. Oh, your Oshi is Hara Rae Sol. I'm her now. Exactly.
Was a bloodbath. And in 608, a military commander in one of the provinces, Carthage, the commander's name was Heraclius, sparked a revolt against Phocas.
Heraclius?
Heraclius marched on Constantinople, and as he approached, the people of Constantinople rose up. They had Phocas all tied up and ready to be executed by the time Heraclius got there. His famous words to Phocas were, "Is it thus that you have governed the empire?" That same day, October 3rd, 610, even before Phocas's body was cold,
Heraclius? No, I don't think she has that.
Roman emperor.
You know, I keep asking for her to try using Heraclius, and she's just not into it. She just said it's really not her thing. So, yeah, we're just, sticking with vanilla.
Hordes of enemies descended. The Avars advanced in the Balkans and the Persians through the Middle East.
Oh, hey,
in
GB.
614, they seized Jerusalem, the holy city. There was a bloody massacre in which thousands of Jews and Christians were killed. The Persians carried off several holy relics said to be associated with Christ's crucifixion, such as the true cross itself. Now remember, that becomes important later. The loss of Jerusalem certainly sucked for prestige.
I really hate to admit that I already forgot.
But Khosrow's next attack hit the Byzantine
slowly laughing inside. Good.
The Persians conquered Egypt, which was the breadbasket for most of the Eastern Roman Empire.
Accurate.
A famine was the result. And because
that's why I'm such a fucking bakery, chat. I meant to represent Egypt. That's why I am a whole bakery.
An existential level threat to Byzantium. The only
until you know his first name is Flavius.
Invasion of their territory, which
honestly, Flavius sounds like one of those like fancy words for a sex move, like fellatio. I'm just saying. Like, is that a weird thing for me to say? Like, am I weird for saying that? I also definitely just changed the thing on accident. But it really does. It does really feel like you'd have like, I don't know. It feels like you'd have some like posh British woman being like, "Oh, are you into Flavius? Are you into Flavius, dearie?" And it's like, not with that voice, no. They do like, I want a Flavius, please. Yeah, I got like $40 right here. All right, you going for the fellatio, Flavius, or Aclius? Flavius, please. All right, that'll be $10 extra. This is how history night goes. Hey, Kaiba.
Threat to Byzantium. The only answer to defeat the Persians was a large-scale invasion of their territory, which got going in the spring of 620.
Babe, can we do the
now,
Flavius?
You have to understand something about medieval armies.
I've been
With
eating
few
a lot
rare
of pineapple.
exceptions, one of which is coming up. They could generally fight only in the warm months, where there was enough food and supplies.
I've been really preparing for our date. I've eaten nothing but red meat and citric acid for the past like month and a half, sometimes at the same time. Wait, what do you mean I was supposed to? I avoided pineapple. What do you mean it was supposed to be the other way around? What do you mean it's gonna taste like pennies and battery acid? Oh. All right. I'll see you in a month and a half then.
Around to keep thousands of soldiers
I heard that eating nothing but red meat like makes it taste good.
As a result, military leaders thought in terms of seasonal campaigns where they planned to do their fighting in the
I'm sorry, Sean. I am
fall,
completely trivializing your
hunker down
academic
somewhere
prowess. I'm
safe
sorry.
for the winter. Heraclius led his campaigns against the Persians personally. He left underlings in charge of the government back in Constantinople. Clearly, he perceived that the fate of the empire
welcome
was
in.
hanging in the balance. Indeed, many people back home believed that the empire's time was about up, and that Heraclius would prove to be the last Byzantine emperor. Just a quick little aside, several times in this video I mentioned the name of the Persian ruler.
Double down on the
Khosrow.
red meat,
How
yeah.
do you spell that? I dare you to give it a try.
Wait, what word?
If you're seeing this, write the name Khosrow in the comments and try to spell it.
Khosrow?
Just a quick little aside, several times in this video I mentioned the name of the Persian ruler Khosrow. How do you spell that?
Khosrow. All right, anybody in chat want to take some guesses at that before he reveals it? How to spell Khosrow? I feel like it's like K-O-S. Yeah, it might be C-O-S-R-O, but I feel like it's like Kosororius. Yeah, it might be something like that. Yeah, I feel like it's K-H-O-S-E-R-O-W maybe, like Khosrow. Yeah, he's definitely asking. It's gotta be crazy. It might be also like Slavic, so it might be a V at the end. All right, let's see.
I dare you to give it a try. If you're seeing this, write the name Khosrow in the comments and try to spell it. There are several potentially correct answers.
Potentially correct.
Transliterated from Persian. First year of the campaign, 622. Heraclius fought a major battle with the Central Persian army.
All I
under the
know is it's
command
not
of their
Scandinavian. Are you sure
general,
about that?
Shar-Baraz. We're not sure where this battle took place, but probably it was in the highlands of Cappadocia. By the way, the locations you're going to see on the screen, which come from Google Maps, are the approximate areas where these events occurred. We often don't know
crazy.
precisely. When this campaign season was over,
Dude, look at all the
Heraclius
fucking like boulders. Imagine having to like run across those boulders while getting arrows slung at you. That suck
Second year,
ass.
623. Heraclius and the Byzantines sacked the major Sassanid city of Ganzak and burnt it to the ground. The army wintered on the western shore of the Caspian Sea. Third year of the campaign, 624, represented a hat trick for Heraclius. He clowned the Persian army in a major battle and destroyed the Zoroastrian monument known as Adur Gushnasp, the site of a sacred temple where an eternal flame was kept burning. The ruins of this place still exist today. The Byzantines wintered at Lake Van. Campaign year 4, the Persians finally got on the
flying
scoreboard.
through these.
After Heraclius led his army south of the Euphrates River in the spring of 625, Shar-Baraz ambushed him, and they fought a massive battle at the Saras River. Heraclius himself was wounded. According to sources, he caught some arrows in the chest, but he survived and escaped with what was left of his army.
Okay.
He spent the winter in Trebizond.
You see, he kind of like skips over it, which is understandable. But do you guys have like any idea how incredible it is in the ancient world to survive like an arrow? Like, actually. let alone to the chest. Like, multiple to the chest. Like, I'd imagine his breastplate might have, like slowed them down, so they probably didn't go, like, too far through. But, like, with the way infections were back in those days, which honestly still weren't as bad as, like, the Civil War, because apparently Americans were adverse to health practices during the Civil War. But yeah, exactly, Pache. Getting shot multiple times, surviving the shots, surviving them pulling all the arrowheads out of you, which was a very painful and labor-intensive task. And then surviving the infections is insane. Insane. We're talking about a time period where it's like, oh, I got a laceration on my calf. I guess I'll die now from sepsis. Nah, I'd win. No, you wouldn't.
Again on the northern coast of what's now Turkey. By now, Heraclius had to
Rub
pull out
some
all
dirt
the
on
stops
it?
to
Yeah,
win.
really.
He figured the next round could very well be the last-ditch, end-of-the-world duel that would result in the destruction of one empire or the other.
That's
While
pretty
wintering
sick.
in Trebizond, Heraclius instituted mass conscription across the empire, which was rarely done in medieval times, and he raised as much money as possible for the coming campaign. The church, which controlled a lot of wealth in Byzantium, chipped in, melting down everything they had of value.
It's clearly
Heraclius
spelled
split his army
Costco.
into
You're right,
three.
Sergeant.
One part would go tangle with a new Persian army, a second would go back to Constantinople to defend it, and the smallest part, which Heraclius remained in command of, went to deal
Wasn't diarrhea a common killer at that time? It was a common killer up until, like, probably the 1900s. Very common. But it wasn't common because of what you'd think. It was a common killer not because, like, it indicates a greater sickness, but because you just be dehydrated. Like, I think unironically, the Oregon Trail, like the dysentery meme, that's, like, not wrong at all. Like, one of the major deaths was, like, dysentery. Like, food poisoning was a big killer at that time period, just because, like, you didn't have the ability to usually keep yourself just simply hydrated. Like, you die of dehydration. It's kind of crazy to think about it today, where, like, almost everybody has, you know, free, you know, access to, like, tap water, or at least, like, some kind of clean drink. So yeah, it's kind of crazy.
the Khazars in Azerbaijan to prevent them from teaming up with the Persians. While that was going on, the Persians and Avars joined forces, sort of, to besiege Constantinople. I say sort of because although there was undoubtedly communication between them, they were camped on opposite sides of the Bosporus. That's the strait that runs through the Constantinople area, and they couldn't effectively link up. Though Heraclius was absent, remember he was off handling the Khazars, he had a bonus in Constantinople.
You got it, Toast.
Literally,
Second one.
The general in charge of the defense of the city was named Bonus. He and the
His name was
patriarch,
Bonus?
the leader of the church, directed operations during the siege. The Avars went first, beginning their attack on the city on June 29th, 620.
Watch that, like, actually not be his name. It's just that we only have, like, one source about him that makes fun of him, and it's, like, actually, like, a Latin word for, like, boner. Yeah, I'm being very VTuber brained right now. But it's, like, it's kind of like somebody, like, Pokemon rivaled this guy. Like, the only historian that wrote about him, like, hated him. So his real name was, like, I don't know, like, we'll say, like, Romus. Or, like, we'll go with Romulus, even though that's definitely not it. Like, his name was, like, Romulus, and someone was like, yeah, well, he was a fucking dick, he bullied me in fucking philosophy under Aristotle, so, actually, his name is Bonerus? Yeah, exactly. His name is just Bonerus. He will be forever known as Bonerus.
Bonus refused to surrender. At the beginning of August, the Persians joined the attack. After one of the most epic battles.
Anyways, he lifted the
history of
siege, the
Byzantium,
prick.
The Persians and Avars couldn't take the city and eventually withdrew. The Byzantines credited the salvation of Constantinople to a portrait of the Virgin Mary that the patriarch paraded along the walls to buck
There's that
them.
iconoclasm.
Anyway, Heraclius not only neutralized the threat of the Khazars, but he brought them in as allies against the Persians. He forayed deep into Persian lands to burn crops and such. The Khazars sent
I guess
an
the
army
opposite of
40,000 to do much
iconoclasm.
the same. The final battle was getting teed up. The Battle of Nineveh was unusual in medieval history because it happened in December, outside the usual campaign season. Heraclius met the Persian army under the command of a general named Rhazatis near Nineveh in also what's now Iraq. On December 12, 627, one of the most pivotal battles in world history got going somewhere near here. It's a shame that historians and archaeologists have not been able to pinpoint exactly where it happened, because there should definitely be a
Nothing
monument.
says an ancient battle
During this
site like a
battle,
Kroger shopping
Rhazatis
bag.
challenged Heraclius to single combat, one of the rare instances of this sort of thing happening outside of the movies. According to Byzantine sources,
No, you're right,
Heraclius
Stinov, it's
rode
true.
right up and killed Rhazatis with one blow. Something tells
That's
me
why all the Catholics in Italy have the big cone hats, and the Protestants don't. That's exactly why. It's the pro-cones and anti-cones. Oh, okay, that's cool.
couldn't have been that simple, but it's clear that the Persian commander was killed, and this took all the spark out of the Persian army. Nineveh was the decisive victory Heraclius had been hoping to score for 5 years now. Heraclius got even luckier after it was over. His men intercepted a message from Khosrow, the Persian king, to the top general Shahar-Baraz. Heraclius substituted a fake message that told Shahar-Baraz to stand still and not move
Is this
his forces.
Skyrim background
Then
music?
Heraclius marched to
I really
Boston,
feel like this is Skyrim
Persian
background
capital, and
music.
completely destroyed it. This was in January 628. Persian resistance was
Either that or Minecraft. I don't know where I know this
the big
from.
war and doomed his empire to defeat, Khosrow was overthrown by his own people, and the next ruler quickly and wisely made peace with Byzantium. The terms of the treaty included the return of all Byzantine lands conquered, including Jerusalem, and the Persians even gave back the True Cross. On September 14th,
Those are some wild looking horses, dude. Those horses look crazy. They really were not good at drawing horses, were they?
628, Heraclius marched back into
Like,
Constantinople.
look at everyone too. They're like, oh my god, this fucking painter can't draw horses for shit, bro. Don't look at the weird. Everybody's like, look away from the weird horses. Nobody look at them. They look fucked up. I don't like them.
in triumph.
Like
His
everyone
army
looks,
carried it
everyone
to-
looks like so annoyed.
Eventually, the artifact was returned to Jerusalem. Heraclius was, at least at that time, one of the great heroes of Roman history.
Ugh, I mean, I guess
The
I'll
Byzantine
stab him.
Empire had not only saved itself, but had totally neutralized its most dangerous enemy. What was left of the Sassanid Empire was pretty much powerless. Unfortunately, the story doesn't quite end there. The significance of the Byzantine-Sasanian War of 602 to 628 is most evident when you look at what happened shortly after it. While it was going on, in the early 620s, Muhammad was founding the religion of Islam on the Arabian Peninsula. In fact, the year 622, the year Heraclius launched his invasion of Persia, is the year 1 on the Islamic calendar.
That's actually
Muhammad
really
died
interesting.
in 632, 4 years after Byzantium destroyed more or less the Sasanian Empire, but the nucleus of the Islamic community that he founded was already rising and rapidly becoming a power in the region. Byzantium had won its conflict with the Persians, but this victory was absolutely exhausting. Winning this war took every ounce of effort the Eastern Roman Empire could marshal. This meant they were effectively very weak after it was over, and when the Muslim conquests began in the 630s, there was little they could do to stop them. The Sasanian Empire, what was left of it, fell to the Rashidun Caliphate beginning in 633. Jerusalem was conquered by the Rashidun in 638. Essentially, the Byzantine-Sasanian War left a massive power vacuum throughout the Middle East and the Levant, which was quickly and easily filled by the world's first Islamic power. As the Muslim conquest
kinda
totally
crazy.
changed the course of global history forever, this makes the conflict between Byzantium and Persia one of the most consequential wars ever fought on this violent planet. So there you have it.
It really is, though, but like what's really interesting about it is not that it's one of the most like consequential wars in history, but not because of who won and who lost. Just the fact that they both fought it. Like, just the fact that they fought it at all allowed for, you know, the now global spanning Islamic religion, essentially the space to fill in that empire and grow from there. That's really crazy. Yeah, that's really insane. That's kind of cool. I'm sure that happens a lot in history, but I don't really remember anything like that I can think of at the top of my head where it's like that. You know what I mean? Where it's just like it doesn't matter who wins the war, just the fact that they fought it and exhausted each other at all means that, you know, this third party is able to essentially begin its global movement. Yeah, I guess is the best way to put it. It's really weird.
I have a lot of history videos on my channel in a number of different areas. I do a lot of stuff on nautical.
Yo, thank you for the follow, Ezio Auditore. Welcome into the cult.
In-depth historical movie analyses. I have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/Sean Munger. The link to my website where I teach history classes online is in the description, as well as my Ko-Fi and my Substack blog. Thanks so much for watching.
Make sure you guys go check him out. He totally deserves your stuff. The last video we've got for tonight, because we've got about an hour left, is going to be the Buddhism mummification. So this ought to be really, really cool. So we'll go ahead and get it started. This is by Wendigoon. I'm sure you know Wendigoon by now. He's absolutely massive. But I remember watching this video way on back, and the practices they utilize are crazy. Actually, have we watched this video before? I feel like there's a possibility we watched this one before for a history night. I can't remember. Any of the old the OGs remember if we watched this before? I feel like we might have, now that I think about it. Wendy Goon? Oh man, I didn't know that she did that. Yeah, that's the secret sauce on all the burgers.
All of humanity's history, several rare and unique ceremonies and rituals have been practiced by people all over the globe for reasons ranging from culture or country, or as we're going to be talking about today, religion. And perhaps one of the most interesting and morbid practices ever recorded is that of self-mummification. In Japan's northern mountains lie
That's
select groups of
crazy.
Buddhist monks who practice the act of self-mummification, or living mummification. And for such a relatively small practice within the whole scope of Buddhism, it is fascinating how popular this idea has become. And despite there being several rumors and myths around the idea of living mummification, some of which we're going to talk about today, the practice itself.
What does that mean? You don't know what brat means?
For this video,
you don't know what a brat is?
About the strange act of self-mummification.
It's kind of crazy.
I was doing research into a lot of the more obscure practices and beliefs within Christianity, and I kept getting referenced back to this idea, so I figured you all might like a video on it. And you know, after making a 5-hour video about the bloody concepts of war and death, I figured making a nice small video about people decomposing while they're still alive would be a nice thing to take the edge off. So if that sounds interesting to you, then stick around as we talk about those few times in history where someone made themselves into a living mummy. Right after we deal with, again, whatever crisis I'm having right now. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about something important, like maintaining a healthy lifestyle.
We're going to go ahead and run
past
this.
So I thought what we do today is we do a tour of my kitchen and pantry.
He talks about really good cereal.
Thank you for watching. So to make sure we're all on the same page, let's ask ourselves, what is a mummy? By its more liberal definition,
it's like acting childish.
A body that has resisted the effects of decomposition.
Like not like a child, but being immature is essentially what it means. Like teasing, like softly bullying, stuff like that.
To natural factors that slow decomposition. For example, bodies that are found on the top of Mount Everest. So while normally mummification requires extreme effort from either nature or the morgue, in the northern regions of Japan,
We've definitely
some
watched videos
Buddhist
of mummification
practices have
before,
found a
but I
way
feel
to
like I've showed
secure
this one.
mummification without nature
Yeah,
or the
being
morgue
stubborn,
involved.
pouting, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, one can do it to themselves while still alive. Now, before I get into the description of the belief and practice of mummification, I want to make it very, very clear that this practice is in no way representative of Buddhism as a whole. Buddhism is one of the largest religions in the world, with hundreds of millions of members. And self-mummification, as far as we can trace historically, has definitely been done by about 17 people. Or at least been successfully done by 17 people.
Okay.
There's been a lot
I
of
was about to
people
say, that is
attempting
like
and
way
die in the process.
less
That's
than
what we're
I
talking
expected.
about. But Buddhism in general has a
Because
very
like,
large focus.
I don't mean to like play into stereotypes, but it really feels like when it comes to like religion in the East, like it really feels like a lot of people are extremely dedicated to do very extreme things. For like religious, I don't even know how to put it, like religious recognition, but like not from other people, like from their God. You know what I mean? Like it feels like they're really like willing to go to great lengths for religious or philosophical reasons. You know what I mean? And this is like one of them.
On the spiritual and the mind, reaching this higher order of existence, or nirvana. In most cases, neglecting the body and seeing the body as an unimportant factor in the soul's journey. The only confirmed variation of Buddhism to practice self-mummification is that of Shugendo. Shugendo is inspired by the ancient Buddhist monk Kukai. Kukai was a Buddhist leader in the early 9th century and pioneered.
Y'all see that? Why is the back of his head flat? He looks like he got hit on the back of the head with like a cast iron skillet. Maybe that's why he became a Buddhist monk. Like, he probably like, his wife like hit him in the back of the head with a cast iron skillet, and he's like, all right, I don't like women anymore, I'm becoming a monk. I'm gonna go, you're gonna regret this, lady. I'm gonna become a mummy. A holy enlightened mummy. You said I ain't shit. We'll see about that, bitch.
A lot of ideas whenever it came to ascetic practices.
He kind of
within
does look like an
Buddhism.
alien.
Ascetic practices, or asceticism, is the belief that it is best
Hey,
to
Elmer,
control
welcome in. How
one's
you
own
doing?
desires and physical pleasures in order to achieve spiritual importance. Now, asceticism itself isn't just unique to Buddhism. Pretty much every religion in the world, from Buddhism to Christianity to Islam and everything in between, have some belief of
Today we do
controlling
extreme things
your
for
desires
social
and
media. I mean, you're not
wants
wrong.
in order to achieve a better spiritual version of yourself. But it seems that Kukai, at least according to the stories around him, took this to an extreme. A lot of beliefs around Buddhist monks have a very heavy emphasis on separating yourselves from worldly pleasures in order to achieve a spiritual perfection. Hence why most of their beliefs involve separating themselves from society and living in a communal sense in these mountain temples. Kukai was a very strong proponent of this, and near the end of his life, according to legend, he quit eating, and
Motherfucker
then
was
one
called
day went away
Kukai.
by
Of course,
himself
he
to go
became a
meditate.
mummy.
When he was found sometime
Are you
later,
implying he's
he was
crazy?
dead,
That's
although
rude.
It appeared as if his body was simply sleeping, and it seems that he has reached a higher state of spiritual enlightenment. So, some members of Shugendo, who saw Kukai's life as an example to aspire towards, believed that his mummified state of being after death was the path to enlightenment. Now, Shugendo itself takes aspects from other religions. It borrows some ideas from Taoism and Hinduism as well. So they have more of an emphasis on the state of the physical body, as opposed to a lot of Buddhism that mainly focuses on the mind and soul. Because of that, some followers of Shugendo believed that if the body was taken to the point of near death, or really on the precipice of death for some time, then through the body's connection to the spirit, it would harden the soul. And furthermore, that if someone died while doing meditation in this state of physical near death, then their soul would be in a constant state of perpetual meditation. And if one of them was able to do this, they would reach the state of Buddha. Or in other words,
That sounds like trying to, like, glitch a game. Am I the only one that feels that way? Like, that legitimately feels like a way to, like you're trying to, like, glitch cheat your way into, like, God mode, quite literally. Like, that's what it feels like. It's kind of cool. I kind of like it. I mean, it's also kind of ridiculous, but it's really cool. I dig it. Like, that kind of, what does it remind me of? Or something I was gonna say. Well, in and out of the brain.
total spiritual enlightenment. The term for this, or the term for someone who went through the entire self-mummification process and came out the other side in this state of meditation, or state of Buddha, was Shoku Shimbutsu, which effectively translates to Buddha while in his body. It seems that after Kukai, the first monk who attempted to do this was a monk named Shojin in 1081. However, it seems that, while despite starving himself, after death his body began to decompose. So, the process became refined, and over the next several...
It is kind of crazy to think about, where it's like, all right, well, our greatest monk did nothing but eat pine cones and pine needles for 6 years and starve himself to death in a meditation in a dark box. All right, time to do the sniff test. And like, a Buddhist guy like leans over the little window and takes a like big old whip. And he's like, oh, he's stinky. He fucked it up. He's stinky. No Buddha. He's stinky. Throw him out.
Several hundred years, occasionally, monks would attempt the process of self-mummification. So what was this process that allowed someone to stave off...
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
...before they were even dead? Well, the process...
That guy looks like a human Slim Jim. No, that guy literally looks like he's been sculpted out of Slim Jims. That is horrifying. That is, I don't care. That guy is like a level 560 Slim Jim lich. And you can't convince me otherwise, dude. That guy is a Slim Jim lich. Like this guy right here, is who Macho Man Randy Savage snapped into for Slim Jims. Like, instead of a Slim Jim, they just rip off a chunk of this guy's flesh with like a potato peeler and put it in a package and call it a Slim Jim. That is what that is, dude. It tastes like it would look like it. Slim Jims taste how that looks. Like, really though. Overcooked hardtack candy.
Off the effects of decomposition.
That is horrifying.
Before they were even dead. Well, the process in most cases would take just shy of a decade to complete. And even then, attempts weren't always successful. The first step in the process was something known as mokujiki, effectively bringing down one's diet to the bare minimum to keep a human alive. This diet consisted of exclusively eating things foraged in the forest, like tree bark and pine needles and seeds. Spiritually, again, this...
You see, you can never do normal stuff and do, like, stuff forage in the forest. Like berries. Or wild apples. Or, like, I don't know, like sugar cane. Instead, it's like, oh yes, we are becoming one with nature by only eating what we forage in nature. Like tree bark. And dandelions. Ragweed. We're eating ragweed. Pine needles. like, yeah, there's things you can eat in nature. Oh my god. Yeah, like mushrooms. One that has a chance to instantly kill you. It's just wild to think about.
Was to bring down the body's form in order to elevate the spirit, but what it was physically doing is removing all fats from the body as well as starving out the bacteria within the body.
That's crazy.
See, the reason you decompose after death, negating outside factors,
yes,
is
I
because
must.
your body is full
I
of
must become a
bacteria
human
that
Slim
immediately
Jim.
begins to break down your cells as soon as you die.
So, most esteemed monk, we heard that you were finally, reached enlightenment without dying. What did Buddha say? He said, all he said was, Slim Jim. Slim Jim? What, like eat Slim Jims? No, he said, become Slim Jim. Did he say how to do that? Eat nothing but pine needles. Okay, are you sure that's what he said? Absolutely, without a doubt. Everybody eat, in tree bark. In tree bark. Tree bark and pine needles. Yo, welcome in, Raiders! Welcome in, everybody. My name's Hara Rae Sol. I'm an Egyptian Peregrine sun goddess. We do Worth and a variety of history streams. Thank you for the raid, Debo. How was your stream? What were you doing? Oh my god, that kills me, though. Eat nothing but pine needles and tree bark. Like, what about water? No water! only tree bark. Show me War Thunder now. That's only on Sundays. Sorry, friend. Ow.
Begins to starve out the very bacteria that would one day cause them to decompose. And while yes,
what does the tree bark and pine needles do? They kill literally every microorganism in your body. It's metal as fuck. He said it's so fucking rad. It's like a genocide, but against your own body. That's that much pain.
you would technically
I'm out.
survive
Later,
on
nerd.
a diet of pine needles and tree bark. It would remove all energy storage in the body, so things like fats and muscles. And to the monks, this would all be coupled with meditation in order to elevate the spirit as the body begins to decline.
Something.
This diet for a
he said something about all of us fighting one gorilla. I've meditated on it after he said it, and I really feel like we'd lose.
cycle of 1,000 days. And if they felt that they were not yet ready for the final steps of the process, they would simply go into another cycle. Most often, they would continue on this diet for 3,000 days, or just over 8 years. It was also, as you could imagine, very common for people to die during this part of the process. If a monk died during these preparation stages, he would be buried and honored, but he was not declared to have reached Shoku Shimbutsu. After a monk survived through however many cycles...
At least if you, did it and failed, they were like, he put in a good effort. You know? They were like, okay, he's still, really up there. Thank you for the follow, Lord Fluffy. Welcome into the cold. How you doing? At least they're like, you're still up there, dude. The participation trophy. It's like, okay, you didn't become God, but, you did pretty good.
Of the 1,000-day fast.
Nice to hear. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy your stay.
The final steps of the process. The next step was a complete fasting of any food all at once. For 100 days, they would exclusively drink saline water and meditate.
How would you live off that?
They would intake other than saline water was a tea known as Urushi tea. Urushi tea came from a sumac tree and effectively was made of the same materials that makes poison ivy poisonous.
I met with Buddha again. He said, only drink water and eat a lot of poison ivy. They're like, what? Only eat poison ivy? The guy's like, yeah, only eat poison ivy. You can sometimes have salt water with it.
Drinking this tea
for 100 days
toxic to any outside composters that may come along, like maggots or worms. So if the process...
You have to make your body so putrid that not even maggots will eat it. You know, like a Slim Jim.
has gone successfully and, you know, the person hasn't died yet, which was much more common than the process going successfully. But if the process went successfully, then all of the bacteria in the body have been starved out to where they can't decompose the body from the inside.
That is
the body
actually
is
crazy.
Now poisonous to any decomposing.
That is like committing like natural chemotherapy.
The monk was then effectively buried alive. The monk would be placed into a pine box about 10 feet below ground, and the box itself was very cramped. It only allowed for a person to sit in the lotus position and not stand up or move too much.
So you then get put in a cramped fucking box.
In the box, a bamboo chute was ran into the box itself to provide air, and the monk was given a single bell to ring every day to indicate that he was still alive. After that,
that's
the top
insane.
of the box was covered with charcoal, and every day the monks would walk by and listen for the bell to ring through the bamboo chute. And of course, eventually, the bell would stop ringing. Some reports I read said that whenever the bell would quit ringing, they would remove the charcoal, check to make sure the monk was dead before they removed the bamboo chute, covered up the box, and then sealed it off with...
That is kind of crazy though, where it's like, you don't hear the bell, so like you pull all the shit off and like, you open the box, and it's just this decrepit, like, on the verge of death man sitting in, like, hot crisscross applesauce. And you're just like, Brother Takeshi, are you still alive? And he's like, yes. He's like, all right, board it back up. Just like, you start pushing all of the rocks back onto it. Oh my God, dude. That's gotta be horrifying. He's like, please. Please let me out.
No.
I changed my mind. They're like, nope. He just shovels another rock onto the pile. Too late now, buddy.
However, some other reports I read said that if the bell wasn't ringing, they would just pull the chute and then seal the box in without
Holy
checking.
shit.
So the final step of the process involves being willfully buried alive and then ringing a bell to indicate to others around you that you're not dead yet.
And if
of
you
course,
fail to
through
do
this
it, you
entire
just get
process,
suffocated
The
to
monk
death.
would be meditating and chanting. The idea being that once the moment of death occurs and the monk is in this suspended state of meditation, they have reached enlightenment and Buddha. Several participants in the religion also say that this act of living mummification.
I don't
is
even know
also
how
an act
much
of self-sacrifice.
like mental fortitude it would
Several of the
require
stories
to
regarding
reach that
these monks
point.
who reached a state
Like
of
that's
living
actually
mummification
insane.
Talk about how selfless
To like
they
have
were
the
in
mental
life and how
fortitude to not only
disproportionate-
like die, to like commit self-immolation pretty much, but like also like to do it slowly over the course of like 200 days. Just slowly starve yourself. Like that's, you are literally like, that is like an ancient torture. All of that is literally like an ancient form of torture pretty much. And it is like inflicting it on yourself to reach enlightenment. That's crazy. Like imagine doing all of that and reaching enlightenment. And then like you go up to enlightenment and you see like Bob from the temple who didn't do that. And you're like, Bob, what'd you do to get here? And he's just like, oh, you know, the usual stuff. Like, did my prayer every day. Had my bowl of rice. Hung out with the monk bros. So you're telling me you didn't turn yourself into a human Slim Jim by drinking poison ivy and not eating anything for 100 days and being trapped in a dark, cramped box for weeks and then eating only pine needles and tree bark for like 3 years? Nah, I didn't have to do that at all. But did you do that? That sounds crazy. Why would you do that? I achieved Buddha by simply like giving up soda, dude. I just gave up soda. I gave up sugar. That's all I did. I gave up sugar and red meat, dude. I achieved enlightenment in like 2 weeks. I had like the blonde, like pulsating Goku hair and everything. Did you didn't have that? With all that, you didn't get the pulsating gold hair. All right, I don't know what you did, but like, you made it here, I guess.
Act upon that belief. It was believed by many of them that humanity's suffering.
If four dogs came up to you and asked for a baguette, would you respect that? I mean, I'd hand it over if I had a baguette. For
example, one of the monks who successfully went through the process had a legend that said one day he was traveling through the city that would one day become Tokyo, and everyone was getting a disease that caused them to become blind. So
that's
he
fun.
simply walked to the river, ripped out his eye, and threw it in the river. And according to the legend, the disease stopped. So a lot of the beliefs around self-mummification was that the physical weight that humanity was bearing through things like famine and starvation could be atoned for, and perhaps they would bear the burden of if they went through the extreme end of the process.
That is wild.
And dehydration. So, well, yes, it was on one hand an act of self-actualization and spiritual
enlightenment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine doing all of it.
Act of self-sacrifice.
Imagine doing all of that to actually achieve enlightenment and meet Buddha, and then Buddha's like, dude, you didn't have to go that far. Like, you really didn't. Like, not only am I not a god, because I told you I'm not a god, but also, like, you really didn't have to go through all that, dude. Like, I just requested that, like, you give up, like, worldly possessions and don't give in to materialism. That's like, in your time period, that's like not celebrating Christmas by buying gifts. That's literally it. Like, that's all you had to do.
After 1,000 days since the monk was sealed in the tomb, his body would be checked by his followers to see if he had undergone any decomposition. If the monk did experience any decomposition in this time, then his body was exorcised and reburied. See, it was believed that by going through this process, you are opening up the body to a lot of spiritual energy. Hopefully, energy that you can take advantage of. But if the body shows signs of decomposition, that effectively means that the process didn't work. So now, something else could be using that energy and your body as a sort of host.
What a fucking gamble! So you're telling me not only if it doesn't work, you don't achieve enlightenment, but also you get possessed by a demon? What? That is insane. That makes it even worse. Buddha's like, yeah, you kinda fucked it up, so now you're like, you just resummoned Sukuna. Like, you just became like 10 more fingers for Sukuna. He's currently wiping out the northern half of Japan. Yeah, or just a bunch of bugs.
Again, the body would be exorcised and reburied. If someone did get through the process without, decomposing, then they were declared an official Soko Shimbutsu, and their body would be placed within a temple to be worshipped, as it was seen that individual...
This worship was a means of honoring the sacrifice and determination of the mummified monk and encouraging followers who look up to that monk as an example and teacher. It is not a form of deity worship. It is more closely related to the traditions of sainthood. Okay, that makes sense. That's what I assumed.
Buddha. Now, depending off of which estimates you go with...
I mean, to be fair, I guess if you're like a really big religious zealot and you become a saint by doing this one simple trick. Simple, quote unquote. I guess there's that, I guess.
This process has successfully been completed.
You think some of them, like, cheat? Like, they cheat on it? Like, they take in, like, an IV bag of embalming fluid and know that they're close to death, so they're just like, I'm definitely not decomposing now. The inside of my body will be completely nothing but salt and resin.
By anywhere from 17
It's like steroids in baseball.
There are 17 still intact mummies who went through this process, still existent today. And if we go by historical records or people from the past couple hundred years who witnessed these bodies, then the number's closer to 30. There's also several reports from hundreds of years ago that there were other people who successfully went through this process, but their bodies have just been lost to history. And again, if you go off the most strict of guidelines, then there
are at most 28 Soku Shinbutsu still in existence today. However, only the 17 mentioned earlier are readily open to the public viewing, and given the proliferation of fake mummies reported by some Shugendo believers, Most consider the true number as roughly 17. Interesting.
There's about 17. And way, way, way more people died while trying to do this than actually did it, at least all the way. I mean, believe it or not, most people can't go through 8 years of starvation. There's also a lot of false information about the whole self-mummification thing. Like,
That's interesting, Anubis.
Who think this happened to like thousands and
That's
thousands
wild.
of people. And while maybe that many attempted it, certainly not that many did it. There's also that picture that went around of the dead body encased inside of a Buddha statue, and people thought that that's what self-mummification was. The people were just like sealed and wrapped up inside of statues. And while that would be terrifying, no. While those are mummies, they have had their organs removed and were completely mummified after death. Again, the only confirmed historical
the Egyptian
records
method.
of purposeful
My favorite.
self-mummification was in the northern region of Japan from 1081 to the final case of which was in 1903. See, in 1879,
1903 is wild.
Banned the practice of self-mummification as he saw it as barbaric, equating it to effectively a glorified suicide. While this,
I mean, he's not wrong. That is what it is.
It didn't stop everyone. And as mentioned in 1903, the last official successful case of self-mummification happened to a monk named Bukai. Bukai went through the entire process. However, whenever his followers came to retrieve his body 1,000 days later, they were stopped by the Japanese government, because at the time, it was illegal to exhume a dead body. So the body just sat there in the box until it was discovered by a group of university researchers in 1961, who sure enough found that the body had hardly decomposed. And as mentioned, this is the last reported successful case of self-mummification. A lot of people falsely attribute Luang Fo Diang as the last successful case of self-mummification, and he wasn't the last case of a successful one, he was the last case of an attempted one, at least officially.
Schrodinger's monk, yeah.
Attempting this in the mountains somewhere. It's illegal now, but that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. Luang died in 1973 as he was going through the first fasting cycles. And while it was never officially confirmed that he was trying to go through Soku Shinbutsu, I don't think someone eats a diet of, again,
I thought Shintoism was much older than that.
For fun. And again, he died during that fasting process. The reason he's so well remembered, and a lot of people think he was the last one, is because he's definitely the most memorable one, because in order to make him appear more eloquent to visitors at the temple, and keep in mind, he didn't go through the whole anti-decomposition process. They artificially mummified his body later. So in the process, because apparently his eyes were sunken in and it looked bad, they just put a pair of sunglasses on him.
Oh
so
my God!
It's just a dead monk wearing sunglasses in a temple. That's fantastic.
And they're Ray-Bans too! They're not even cheap ones! What is that one movie where, like, they're staying with their dead uncle for a weekend? Weekend at Bernie's? Isn't that what it's called? Something like that. Imagine doing this, but it's... it's a Weekend at Bernie's, but it's with, like, a 1,000-year-old mummified monk. That's crazy, dude. He looks like Voldemort. He didn't even have a nose. That's insane. They didn't put cheap sunglasses there either. Like, imagine instead of Ray-Bans, it's like a pair of, like, $5 blue Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels sunglasses from, like, Walmart. That'd be hilarious. Oh, that'd kill me. And it's so crazy they put a $200 pair of sunglasses on him, though. That's nuts. That's so funny. That's crazy.
Perhaps the most successful case of self-mummification was Shin Yokai, who died in 1783. He was considered one of the most well-preserved bodies of this process.
Whoa!
So within his case that he resides in, every 6 years, his robes are changed out. And the pieces of the old robes he was...
Oh God, can you imagine seeing the naked mummified body, like almost near perfectly mummified body of like a 1,000-year-old man? Like, that dick's gotta look like a raisin, dude. Or like a sun-dried tomato. That's gotta look disgusting, man. Like, you're like trying to put his robes back on and you're like, oh, something hit my wrist. What is that? And your monk, like your monk senior is like, that's his dick, dude. Like it hits to your wrist, you just hear like, and like dust like flies off of it. It's probably gone like the nose, and that means somebody was changing out his sheets or his robes and got a surprise. Like, you're just like changing the robes out and you hear like something hit the ground, you look down, it's like a little like shriveled peanuts. Yo, welcome in, Raiders! Welcome in, everyone. My name's Hara Rae Sol. I'm an Egyptian peregrine sun goddess. I do worth and a variety of history streams. Thank you for the raid, Pharaoh Ramses. How was your stream? What are we up to? Oh my god, that was crazy. That is such a crazy thought, though. It had to have fallen off. It's not like he chopped them off before he self-mummified, which means at some point, either they're still there and they're extremely shriveled, or his tabernacle and choir straight up came off with one of those robe changes, and someone had to handle the 1,000-year-old mummified wiener. Like, I do not envy that monk, dude. He was like, I was willing to suffer for Buddhism, but not like this. Not like this, dude.
Previously wearing are chopped up and sold as talismans, with people who buy the talismans saying that they contain some special supernatural property.
What?
Previously wearing are chopped up and sold as talismans, with people who
okay,
buy
his
the
robes.
talismans.
I thought they were saying like parts of him were, and I would like that like fall off. I was like, oh my god, somebody's got his dick and balls in a bag, and it's seen as a holy relic.
Saying
That'd
that
be
they contain
crazy.
some special supernatural property. And that leans back on
What? I thought that would have been sick. Yo, thank you for the follow, Christine Dreams. Welcome into the cult. Look, all I'm saying is, if I had a dick and balls and I got mummified, I want somebody to keep it around in a little purse and treat it like a holy relic. Just saying. That'd be sick.
one of the reasons that I find this so fascinating. The Buddhists of this region, and again, I want to emphasize, this is not.
Yeah, it really
indicative
would be
of
a fertility
Buddhism as a
totem.
whole. Again, Buddhism is. A
It's
very
like that
widespread-
French guy in Paris that like women like grind on his statue or whatever for like fertility stuff, which is why like his entire coffin is like black, and then like his dick, like the pants of his dick, like the seat of his pants is like shiny bronze, and it's like, oh my god, that's crazy. Same thing with his nose and the tips of his shoes.
and popular religion, and like I said, this was 17 people, so do not take their beliefs and apply it to anyone who is Buddhist. But there are other beliefs, like in some sects of Jainism or Hinduism, that do have a process for a slow or natural death. But in those cases, it's always because the person just wants to die, either from
I just read that, Gear. A mummy is missing his balls in Lego City. Hey! Help him rebuild his testicles in the monk temple and mummify the priest. Be crazy.
Physical illness or a physical pain that's tormenting them, or they simply have no reason to continue living. Because in those cultures, suicide is seen as a bad thing. So if it is an action of inaction, like starving yourself, then it can be approved by religious leaders. But this, to my knowledge, is one of the only practices where someone who is otherwise in perfect physical or mental health can take on the process of self-starvation and mummification in order to achieve something.
You're not
greater
wrong,
than
Sunav.
themselves. So much so that even after they die, like I said,
Come,
their
Naravari,
clothes
must
are sold
snort
as
this testicular
talismans, because
kush
that
for
is the
powers.
power their form holds for going through that process. And I have to mention, it's such an uncanny resemblance to things like the Catholic concept of the incorruptible saints, and how there is this sacredness to a body that is not touched by.
You're preaching to the
process
choir
of
over
death
here,
and
I'm well aware.
decomposition. It is so fascinating to me how different religions and beliefs throughout the world can have such wildly different ideas of existence and purpose and action and ministry. But every now and then there are these parallels that exist between them, between otherwise completely unrelated groups of people.
That is
And
really
it's so
interesting if you
cool,
think
and
about
it's
it.
so interesting to see. And this is obviously, as you could probably tell, to me, a very fascinating case and a very fascinating.
Kind of like that thing where like there's multiple like world religions that talk about like a great flood. It's kind of like in their mythos. It's kind of the same thing with this, where it's like kind of weird that like there's multiple like completely separated religions, like Catholicism in ancient Egypt and you know, Buddhism here that like really reveres mummified bodies. It's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, like the idea of an undying physical form.
If you stuck around this long, you wanted to hear about it too, and that's really cool, and I appreciate it. And I just want to say,
it's kind of like the idea of making your physical body immortal, even if your soul still leaves it. Ow. It's really a cool concept, honestly.
Thank you for,
you know, like a lich.
Watching. This is a fascinating case. Like I said, I was reading about some of the more strange concepts in Christianity that existed, especially towards the Dark Ages. Which again, with what I was saying there at the end, like even the same time period, self-mummification would have been popular in the northern regions of Japan, like, you know, 1500s, which was around the same time.
I also wonder why it was only popular in northern Japan. He didn't really focus on that, but I wonder specifically why. I'd have to ask the question, like, what is the cultural difference between the Buddhist monks in northern Japan compared to everywhere else that would make them be the main proponents for this form of worship? You know what I mean?
Time, a lot of concepts like the miracles of the Catholic Church.
Southern Japan is human. I mean, maybe, but
saints. Or,
there's other areas where Buddhism is, like China, where that's not a thing.
Oh man, what is it called? There's a thing that, am I gonna have to go get my notebook? No.
Like, I would argue it'd be easier in a cold desert like the Gobi.
A process of burying yourself in a wall within like Catholic or Christian groups around, again, the Dark Ages, where they would entomb themselves in a wall as
they would Fortunato themselves.
God. And in some cases, in a sort of similar concept, they would go live on top of these towers that they wouldn't come down from, and they just stay up there and preach all the time. And it's so weird to see acts of self-sacrifice as kind of, like I said, a penance. In one
Yo,
culture,
thank you for the follow, Talisa and the Autistic. Welcome in, how you doing?
Culture. That's so cool to me. I love it.
Welcome to the cult.
Fascinating, especially the dark and creepy parts. But like I said, I find this cool. And if I'm going to talk about, I was planning to make a video, like a larger one, about like the Christian stuff, because that's more my wheelhouse. Like a lot of the concept I've said about Buddhism and stuff, I've had to research in the past couple days, which I was probably wrong about some of it, and if so, sorry, I swear I'm trying. But Christianity's my
He sounds like he's about to cry. Come on, Wendy, you're fine, dude.
Rattle it off. But I figured
you did
before I
good.
make that larger video, I wanted to make this one. Because it's an interesting topic to me, and hopefully you all found it interesting too. But with that out of the way, I want to say thank you all so much for the support you've shown on.
So that should be the end of it. Like I said, make sure you guys go check out Wendigoon, especially Sean Munger. I feel like everybody knows who Wendigoon is. All of his videos get like 1 million views these days. This guy's loaded. But Sean Munger deserves your support as well. Sean Munger makes a lot of really good videos. So if you like history and you like really well-informed history, please go check that stuff out. So we've got about 6 more minutes left. So I'm going to go ahead and find somebody for us to raid out to, but I won't do it quite yet, okay? Over on Twitch. But if you want to go ahead and let out, we will be back on Friday this week. We're going to be playing Fallout New Vegas, 7 p.m. CST. I'm trying to make every time, like, equal. You know what I mean? So, like start the same time every day. So 7 p.m. will be our start date, or start time from here on out. I've learned that I'll be going back to a Monday to Friday schedule starting July 1st. So that means the Wednesday, Friday, Sunday schedule will be permanent, except Sundays will be moved up to 2 to 7 once that goes into effect. So, starting July 1st, that'll be the only change. From here on out, streams will hopefully be Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, as often as it can be. So, I'm going to go ahead and raid you guys out. We're going to raid Dionysus. Yeah, I think we're going to raid Dionysus. So, she's really cool. She's with Mythos. If you guys don't know who Mythos is, it's like, hold on, I gotta type her name in. It's hard to spell.
I was just wondering if you wanted to hang out with me and smoke weed and fill our bellies with diet soda and play Burnout Revenge for the PS2.
I mean, I guess. I mean, stream's over. Like now? I mean, okay. Yeah, sure. Sure. But But thank you guys for coming and hanging out. We still technically have like 4 more minutes, so I guess I'll sit here for a second before I start this right on out. Does anyone have any like museum or history questions or anything they just want to talk about in your last 4 minutes here? Anyone? Anything? This is your moment. If you've been waiting, you've been sitting there for weeks like, oh man, I wish you just had a moment to say something to Hara. Like, she's so fucking rad. She's so fucking sick, dude. And like, I'd like to know more of like what's in her dumb little bird noggin. Well, and like, here's your chance. You got 3 minutes. Do you have a bucket list of museums to go to? No, I don't. I wish I did. Kind of the bucket list was like ones I already went to go see in like, in DC, so. Doodling bird, yay! Burbs. I will ask, I guess, while I'm here, I've noticed that, like, interaction and, like, attendance, to history streams has been pretty low and has been sinking lower and lower each week. So